Hello and welcome back to another episode of Talking Bollocks. It is me again. Yes, hello. It is me, your friendly neighbourhood host. It is Howard H. Smith. Hello, welcome to the Bollocast for, October 2018. Welcome back, Bollockers. Hello, new listeners. It's lovely to be in your ears once again. So let's go straight into the intro. My name is Howard Smith. Oh God, I've left the H out. Better do that again. Don't know my own name. My name is Howard H. Smith. I am lead singer in UK thrash band Acid Rain. I'm also a stand-up comedian. You can find me as Keith Platt on all socials and website keithplatt.co.uk and acidrain.co.uk. Who uses websites anymore? Anyone? And I'm also do stand-up comedy as myself. I also do this podcast. Hello, welcome to this podcast, Bollocast, whatever you want to call it. It is basically me talking shit for about 20 minutes, then an interview, then more talking shit, then an interview, and then a little bit of talking shit. That's right. Yes, it's me. Talking bollocks, actually. Why am I saying talking shit? It's talking bollocks, to be absolutely spot on. So, as always, what has been going on in the world of metal this month? Well, I am going to start with, and I am going to be a bit selfish. Not so much the world of metal, but the world of me. As I talk to you right now, I have a nice big scar developing on my forehead. I have 2 black eyes, a busted lip, and I'm waiting for I'm recording this in the morning because I'm waiting for the police who are going to be coming around in the afternoon to take a statement. So what happened? Some of you may have seen that I placed a picture on social media showing me in hospital. That was last weekend. What happened was on Saturday night / Sunday morning, I was out having a few drinks with a mate. We came out of a pub in the middle of Ealing, London, and there was a group of lads across the other side of the road who were letting off fireworks and aiming them at people across the other side of the road, of which I was one. One of these fireworks passed within probably about a foot of me, hit my friend next to me. Now, it hit him on his shoe. He was okay. But I ran after them, as did a couple of other people. And I remember kind of cornering one as he was trying to get away. And unfortunately, that is the last thing I remember. The next thing I remember is waking up on the pavement with the police and paramedics around me in a pool of blood. So I don't know what happened. I'm assuming I took quite the kicking. I honestly don't know. I must have been hit by something because it's really bust my head open. So the police took me down to the hospital where the wound on my head was glued up. Spent about 3 hours with them talking about what happened, but I also need to give an official statement as well, which is why they're coming round later on today. So I'm okay. No long-term damage. I've got a cut on my head. I've got a torn trapezius, which is one of the muscles that's either side of your neck. So not too much headbanging for me for the next few weeks, and I've also got a bruised eye socket, so it kind of hurts when I eat. And funnily enough, I had to go back to hospital on Tuesday to be seen by a doctor, and she asked me what happened. I told her the whole story, and she said, "So, what have we learnt from that then?" And I kind of sort of looked at her like, "What?" And she said, "Well, not to do things like that." Now, I'm not a hero, but as I said to her, let me put this in, without wanting to sound patronising, but let me put this in terms that you can understand. You react in those situations the way you react. That's just, it's not a choice and it's not a decision. You just do what you do in a situation like that. Apparently, I run towards trouble as opposed to away from it. To be honest, these kids were just wandering around, letting off fireworks, aiming them at people with absolute, complete impunity. And I just thought, I'm not fucking having this. I am not having this. And maybe next time, these guys will think twice about, we can get away before the police get there. And one of them will be like, yeah, but it's not the police we've got to worry about because people don't take kindly to this kind of shit and they come at you. So, I don't know, whatever. You know, I did what I did. I'm okay, folks. And really, that's all the airtime that it's worth. So, without further ado, let's get into what's been happening really in the world of metal. And there is only one story to start with. Is it KK Downing constantly gibbering about not being in Judas Priest anymore? No, but I will get to that. Is it Kiss going on about their final tour? No, and I'm not going to get to that because we've had enough Kiss over the last few months. Is it anything about the new Megadeth tour? No, I'll tell you what it is. And those of you who are aware of this story know what the biggest story is. Happened just a couple of days ago. Manowar guitarist Carl Logan arrested on child pornography charges. Yes, Logan, 53, was arrested on August the 9th in Charlotte, North Carolina. August the 9th, by the way. Not quite sure why it's taken this long to come out. And charged with 6 counts of third-degree exploitation of a minor. It goes on to explain what that charge involves. A spokesperson for the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's... Mecklenburg. Hey there, it's the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office. We got a problem here. Yet another one. There you go. Put that in the H bank of accents. Told The Blast that a warrant was issued back in August for the guitarist's arrest, and he was booked into the local jail. The Blast, which was launched last year by former TMZ news editor Mike Walters, was the first to report news of his arrest. Logan's bail was set at $35,000, and he has since bonded out. So Manowar have since announced a statement since saying he won't be playing live with them in the future. I mean, it just fucking beggars belief. For me, the main part of the story is this happened on August the 9th, and it's taken an ex-TMZ news editor's new venture, The Blast, to and apparently to bring this to everyone's attention. You know, this all happened in August. Now, admittedly, it's only Manowar, but fuck me, that's a serious crime. It's a crime that it's fucking despicable, is what it is. It's also not something that you hear of every day in the world of metal. I mean, I know there was a guy in Static X who was done for sex with a minor and thrown out of Static X. But this is fucking mental. Absolutely fucking mental. And to be honest, I haven't got a great deal to add. It's not really a subject to joke about. There is no comedy there. And I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention because it seems to have fucking massively flown under the radar. So there you go. It is what it is. And it's fucking despicable. So anyway, moving on. Back to Machine Head. And I am sick and fucking tired of people saying Machine Head have split up. And some of you out there, you'll be guilty of this. Oh yeah, they've split up. Oh, they've split up. Yeah, no, they've split up. Despite the headline reading, Phil Demmel and what's his name, the drummer, Dave McClain, leaving Machine Head after farewell tour. And people just go, oh, farewell tour, this I've done my research. I'm not going to read the fucking article. Read the fucking article, you stupid cunts. It says that they are going to leave after farewell tour. You click the article and you read about how Rob Flynn and the bass player are going to continue when those two have left the band. But constantly people talking about Machine Head splitting up. Oh, they've split up. Oh, Machine Head are no more. You fucking cocks. The information is right there. Just fucking read it. And Phil Demmel, put out a really classy statement about his future, and I just thought, fucking hell, that's absolute class. That really is. And how many more times do the fucking reading? Is it really that hard? And I know I've mentioned this story before. I'll go through it very quickly again. It's like a dick that I was arguing with on. Well, it wasn't arguing with, actually. It was just making him look like the idiot he was. when it was like, oh, this is a few years ago, and it was like, oh, you know, what albums are you looking forward to coming out? And Bloke was like, oh, Sacred Reich. I was like, yeah, they're not putting out any new material. This is before Sacred Reich said they were going to be starting working on material. This is a few years ago. So no, not happening. They're not putting any new material out. And he posted a video link to an interview with Phil Rind on YouTube saying, Phil Rind on new Sacred Reich material. So I watched the video. Halfway through, the guy goes, so what's the chances of any new music? And Phil Rind goes, yeah, absolutely none. Not interested. And the guy was using that as his argument to say, oh yeah, there is going to be a new album. And he hadn't even watched the fucking video. These are the chimps you got to deal with. Sorry, that is offensive to fucking chimps. Sorry, chimps. I'm glad you're okay with that. Cheers. So, anyway, what's up next? Oh, yeah, it turns out, yeah, I am going to mention Kiss again. I should probably look at my notes before I do this. Yes, you should, Howard, you stupid fucking disorganised cunt. Hey, easy. I've had a fucking head injury, you know. Yeah, but come on. It's a fucking... I mean, it wasn't even stitches. It was glue. And you might be on a load of painkillers right now. Oh, good of you to get that in. Well, I'm just looking for a bit of sympathy from the listeners. Oh, sympathy, is it? How about don't run towards getting your head kicked in? There's an idea. Then this takes place without you on fucking painkillers and having to do it in the morning and like a fucking rush job because the pigs are going... Sorry, because the local constabulary are coming round this afternoon. Yeah, that's more like it. You called them pigs, didn't you? You fucking idiot. No need for that. It's disrespectful. They spent 3 hours in hospital with me on Saturday night and they were fucking sound. Yeah, well, that's lovely. Hope you and your pig mates, police mates are very happy together. We will be very happy together. Thank you very much. Fuck off, Howard. No, you fuck off, Howard. Oh, fuck you. Anyway, I am going to mention Kiss again. So, this isn't edited. I'm sure you've worked that much out. So yeah, Kiss End of the Road Tour 2019. It's definitely the last tour. And now, all I'm saying is that is all it is. It's the last tour. Now, Paul Stanley says there's going to be no more new music before they call it quits. Yes! Get in! No more piss weak radio rock. Why in the world of metal do we ever mention Kiss? Ever? I've had meals that have been more metal. I have had tins of soup that have had more metal. I have bought cotton wool that is more metal than Kiss. Kiss is not metal. Never will be metal. Don't get me wrong. Inspired some great metal bands. Yeah? But let's not get too excited about bands that inspired other bands who are clearly better. Yeah? I mean, Rush, inspired by Chuck Berry. Yeah? Well, funnily enough, no Chuck Berry in my collection. Quite a bit of Rush. You know, for fuck's sake. Without Kiss, there'd definitely be no Rammstein. Okay, so you know, maybe, so you know, Kiss have inspired, you know, Anthrax, big Kiss fans, that's brilliant. Scotty and found them really inspirational, that's great. Doesn't mean they're any good. Doesn't mean Kiss are any good. Okay? I mean, fuck off. Fuck you, Kiss. And people who like Kiss. Anyway, moving on. We've got Megadeth. This is just... Right. I've announced Kegadeth, craft beer and metal fest. Right. Now, I have to say, right, that it is getting to the point now where I think Megadeth will do anything as long as they can make a pun out of it around. As long as Megadeth can be turned into a pun around it, then they're doing it. Yeah, and that is quite worrying. Because we could end up with all sorts of fucking rancid shit. It's just a little. I mean, craft beer and metal fest, and given that the main man in Megadeth has said that he has been an alcoholic, he has been hooked on drugs, and he is now sober. I'm just not so sure about all of the alcohol tie-ups. It would appear that that his sobriety is not as important as making money, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it. I've got to say, you know, we've had the Megadeth wine, we've had the Megadeth beer, and now we've got Kegadeth. the Craft and Metal Festival, Craft Beer and Metal Festival, Craft and Metal Festival. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Hey, you can get yourself like a wicker basket with the Metallica logo embroidered on it whilst bands are playing. Fucking hell. I hate craft fairs. Fucking horrible, innit? Load of tat. You buy it, it goes straight into a fucking charity shop. Or rather, you don't buy it because you have taste. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it is just... and it's just along lines of bands, you know, making shit that has their logo on it. And I had to, you know, I posted about this on the Acid Rain Facebook page just this very week, about how we were not tying up with anyone, and we weren't making a skateboard or a Christmas jumper or any wine or beer or coffee, and it did get people it got people engaging, that's for sure, as I believe the phrase is. But yeah, it's really, I don't know. Unfortunately, and this was, you know, this is the point here. Unfortunately, with the massive drop in music sales, bands have got to try and make money anywhere they can, and so you know, I'm afraid if you don't like it, that's tough, you know, because people don't buy music anymore, and that's the way it is. So bands have to become more like brands and stick their logos on anything, and that's a shame. Anyway, next up, remember Bjorn Larson of a few months ago's podcast, the BL Metal podcast? Great podcast where he listens to stuff for the first time and comments on it. The last one has just come out in English. He is going back to doing them in Swedish. So, but he has said that if enough people make enough noise, he'll do a monthly one in English. Now, I have made my feelings felt on this at all. If any of you have been, those of you who check out the BL Metal podcast will already know this. Those of you who haven't got to the this month's podcast won't know yet. But anyway, look, if you want some more BL Metal podcasts in English, head on over, BL Metal Podcast on Facebook, find him, drop him a message or a comment and just say, hey dude, it'd be really cool to have a monthly one in English. And, you know, I think that'd be pretty cool. So, right, I was going to do a load of stuff about KK Downing. I think if I get into that now, it's going to be about an hour before the first interview. So yeah, I'm going to save KK for a little while, and let's get straight into the first interview. So the first interview, let me describe the scene. It is with our old friend Andy Pilkington. Now this came about. There wasn't an intention to record a podcast. I was on a day off from the studio when I was down in Wales. Andy now lives in Gloucestershire. He was about an hour away. So I thought, right, okay, I'm jumping the car, go see Andy. It was in one of these beautiful days that we had in September. Really hot, absolutely gorgeous down there in Wales. Amazing drive out there. Popped in to see him. Showed me around all the new house, and then we popped down to the local pub to have a beer, something to eat in the beer garden on this beautiful day. And I just stuck my phone on the table and said, "Hey, should we have a chat and record it?" And he was like, "Yeah, cool." And you know, we'd been hanging out for a while, so we'd done all the normal catch up stuff. So we just ended up talking about metal. And I know from previous interviews I've had on the podcast that you guys have really enjoyed it. So we thought, hell yeah, why not? So it starts and then stops and then starts again. You'll see what I mean. It'll all become apparent. So this is literally two guys in a beer garden having a chat about metal. This is me and Andy Pilkington from a few weeks ago. So I haven't got a mic. I haven't got a separate mic. But let's have a look. We've got so much peace and quiet here. It doesn't really matter.
Should be all right.
This is just surreal at the moment, folks. We are Andy Pilkington and myself are sat in a beer garden in where?
In Trellick.
Is that how it's pronounced, though?
Well, interestingly or not, it's the most differently spelled town in the UK. So I spell it Trelleck, and there's another 23 spellings of it according to the signs around here.
Right.
But it's Trelleck.
Right, and we're actually in the beer garden of the Lion Inn, and they've spelt Trelleck Trellech.
Yeah, that's the one.
We are in gorgeous sunshine, both having a pint of, what's this?
Nut brown ale.
Nut brown. All of a sudden, that sounds rather rude. A pint of nut juice. But and Andy's made the move from London out to this godforsaken shithole. No, I mean it's just stunning. It's beautiful. The sky is blue. The only interference is going to be birds tweeting in the background. I mean, it's just, I can see why you made the move. It's just stunning.
It's all right, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit of a change from London, that's for sure. But, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have the internet, so life still goes on.
Yes, yeah, it does. And having seen your lovely new studio, the black room, the dark room, you made that happen straight away, didn't you?
Well, yeah, had to. No time to stop. Go straight back into action.
Yeah. And I spied the Alien Weaponry double album that you got there.
Yes, a sneer of contempt.
Well, not so much contempt, because I mean I'm halfway through the album and I'm pretty unimpressed so far. Apart from a number of hackers on the album, I think I've yet to hear anything. I've yet to hear a song yet that's really made me go like this. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some great grooves and there's some great riffs, but I think the arrangements are lacking. I think there's some songs where there's literally it just seems that they're happy to sit in a groove and do the same thing for way too long.
It's interesting because that's pretty much the criticism I read of people who don't get the vibe off Gojira.
Right.
They think it's like, well, it's an interesting, it's an inspiring, it's an emotional, which is the opposite of what I get. And I think it's a really great example of how emotion sits in music, because when I hear Alien Weaponry, I don't really look for the ends of tracks and the starts of tracks. I'm usually sat working, so it's kind of a bit more of a...
Oh, so you admit it's background music?
Well, all music is to me, even yours. When you send me your demos, that's kind of background too. But that's how I've always consumed music, and for me, if it works, if I vibe off it, then that's fine. And I think there's, I came across Alien Weaponry when Simon Hall first booked them for Bloodstock, and he told me he'd booked them, so I checked them out. He was really excited about them, but it was kind of before most people were going through the hype of it, I guess. So I probably wasn't led in any way. So I enjoyed them for enjoyment's sake. And I think...
Yeah, which is the way...
I think it's very likely I'd have been a little bit more dubious about it had I seen the hype before I listened to them, because there is a huge amount of hype. And I think, as I said to you before, if they weren't young kids, I'd probably be less open to the hype. But I like the hype because it means these kids are just experiencing this amazing buzz.
Yeah,
they've got this massive opportunity.
But
I do really like.
And the point should be made for those listening who don't know that they are a three-piece. That they are Maori New Zealanders, and there is therefore sometimes a bit of a Sepultura feel. Mm-hmm. I get more Sepultura and I get more Slipknot than I get anything else.
Yeah.
I just think to me. Some of the song arrangements just smack of a bit of naivety.
Yeah.
But again, like I said,
I think they're quite simplistic in some ways, but I think that's the nature of the groove and the vibe and the sort of tribal feel they go for.
Well, we're going to put this on pause because Andy's wife's just turned up, so we're going to have a beer and get back to you. So picking up where we left off, which was a few hours ago, because we've just been chilling. You've now got a suntan that you didn't have when we first started.
I think it's more than a tan. I think it's a singe.
Yeah, it's a burn. Feel the burn. But we've just strayed into conversation about like when there was just metal, there was just heavy metal, and then thrash and kind of hair metal sort of came along almost at the same time. It's the conversation
that makes every man of our age look like a wanker to every kid half our age. No, but actually it's for a good fucking reasons, because as you were saying, and I won't speak your words, but you can't put into words what it was like to be around at that time. There isn't a description for it.
No, not at all. And I mean, like I said, when I first got into metal, there was one genre. It was called heavy metal, and that was it. And then, you know, thrash and hair metal came along, and then you know, the duration of thrash. There was then you've got death metal coming about, and it's all of this is happening you know, at once. But I mean, quite ironically, now that Metallica have just announced dates, you know, 2 dates, you know, the Etihad Stadium in Twickenham, and to go back all those years, and the first time I heard Kill 'Em All, and you don't realise how on the edge that fucking band were. You know, I'd play Metallica to all my mates, and they'd be like, "No, it's not metal. No, sounds like fucking
the same.
Too much. No songs." You know, and people just 2 years older than me were rejecting it, but I was running towards it because I felt it was more representative of what I liked, because I knew the guys in these bands were not much older than me, whereas, you know, even at that age, you know, there was still, you know, the main flag bearers of metal were, like, whether they're metal or not, you know, AC/DC, Priest, Sabbath, who were all, bearing in mind I'm a teenager, old men to me.
Yeah.
And then Metallica come out, who looked like pretty much not much older than us, and it's like, fucking hell. And given the added boost that my older friends didn't like them, it was like, right, okay, this is for us.
It's interesting because, you know, all of this is making me think about how I learned my way in metal, and I think the difference for me personally was when I picked up on metal very young because I've got a lot of older brothers. So I think I was about 6 when I first tasted AC/DC. And at the same time, I also heard Motorhead, Sabbath, you know, probably early Maiden as well. And to me, it was all the same thing, but nothing was coming out. None of it was linear. It was all about what album my brother put on next and what I heard and how I felt about it. And I think the first time I kind of made any discovery or any sort of independent discovery of it was when I hit early teens and me and my friends started listening to music together, and then there was a kind of discourse and a conversation about music. It wasn't just about what I heard in the background in my brother's room.
Yeah, so your taste wasn't being handed down to you.
Which was great, because I heard the best music even to date that was ever made. You know, it was Motorhead playing Motorhead. It was the best songs. But then I think it was Metallica that I heard and that I discovered with my friends, which was very different metal. Yeah. And that was the first time that I kind of appreciated genre, I suppose. Without anything conscious, it just sounded different to everything else.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the fact that it was different was more exciting to me. Maybe the fact that it was my independent discovery with friends made it more exciting. And I think when you compare that to the way kids these days or young adults consume music, everything is stage by stage by stage. There is none of that discovery of back catalogue. Everything already exists. There's already old people like us talking about it. There's already something there, because social media gives you all the information all the time. You're not surprised by anything anymore. So I guess that's why you kind of almost need to find those independent discoveries and you stick to it, and you probably go over the top about how much you love that and you hate Metallica because it's old and this is mine, and that's the difference now. You know, when I was a kid, I'd never turn anything down because everything was loud and everything was exciting. Yeah. Whereas now, it's already established. People have already had 40 years of it. You know, so it's kind of, well, you know, do I buy into this, or do I want to be my own metal fan? You know, and find my own thing.
Well, it's also it kind of cracks me up about the whole slagging Metallica off and stuff, and says the man who did got a 2-part slagging off of Hardwired for about 6 hours. But the thing is that, but they're still around, you know, and this is what happens to bands.
Yeah,
you know, and yeah, there's, you know, as Kerry King has said many times, yes, Slayer are the AC/DC of the big four. You know, they've never done anything different. They're pipe and slippers, you know. But they're still not, you know, immune from it. People slagging them off, saying it's not, you know, that, you know,
happens a lot now.
There's member changes and it's not the same. And then Megadeth, what do you think to Megadeth? Well, I don't know, you know, for me it's just and people just hark back to the golden age and things like that, and it's like, well, what are bands supposed to do? You know,
should I stop because I'm 58? You know, that's the thing. I get to this age while I've written.
Should turn it in.
I've written the most important songs and albums of all time. I'm the most influential band of all time. But you know, I am 50 now. Oh yeah, all right. I really still enjoy it, and I think, you know, this is the most unique and privileged position to be in. But you know, people are criticising it. Should I stop?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Well, not only
what
that,
sort of fucking scope have you got in life if you think a band doesn't deserve to just fucking keep going? And as long as people are still buying their fucking tickets, they're going to keep doing it.
Well, at this point, it's far from being about the money. But what it is about, hang on, I've had this job for 30 years. I don't know how to do anything else. I still enjoy doing it. Because ultimately, not everyone does do that. You know, I mean, look at a complete left field comparison, but look at John Deacon, bass player with Queen.
Yeah.
Retired in 1997. You know, and he's more than happy. Fine. You know, so people do it, but no one's getting forced into it.
But it's this idea that if you thought about it, what you're suggesting is Metallica should retire. They should sit and do nothing just because they've got the money to do nothing. Is that really what you believe about life? Because I don't think that's what you're saying most of the time. It's only when it comes to Metallica that you're talking in that way. Yeah. Generally speaking, you're saying music is the most important thing. Yeah, because it's Metallica, because there is money involved, because they don't have to struggle, it's like your whole belief system is flipped on its head. And that's where I struggle. Yeah. Where people will literally argue the opposite of what they normally argue because it's a band, a certain band, a specific band.
Well, there's two other points as well, and this the whole ticket price thing. Okay, now for me, you can rant and rave all day about that, but it will sell out.
Yeah.
So that is the price point. Whether you think it's right, and if it prices you out, I understand your anger, but has it really priced you out? Could you actually save, or are you just not going because of righteous indignation that it's £100 a ticket? Now, I'm not going to go. I'm not going because they're going to play songs of Hardwired, and I can't stand that album. And so I'm not interested. But that is their ticket price. That is what they have found they can charge and sell out. Now, the point is that this is a knock-on effect of where the music business is. If they were still, and you know, people might say this is bullshit, but I firmly believe if Metallica was still selling millions and millions of CDs and vinyl, it wouldn't be £100 a fucking ticket. It'd be £60 a ticket. But I'm afraid this is where we are, folks. This is the business. This is the price of doing business.
Who decided to buy or who decided not to buy?
And then other people will say, yeah, but Maiden only charged 65, and that's Maiden's price point.
Yeah.
And Metallica's is 100 because Metallica are the biggest fucking metal band there's ever been, and Maiden aren't. And that is just how it is. That's commerce. That is the way life is.
Steve could crash over his mum's because he's English, you know. Yeah. Save a few quid.
But it is. That's just that is the way the life.
But the way I see
is,
it, people talk about, you know, and I've had this quoted at me this week, and I will admit, to my shame, that I've argued Metallica this week just to poke and prod because it's been funny, because it brings out some fucking simpletons, and it's funny just to hear the lack of argument among some people. But to hear some people say it's the death of the music industry, that it's proof that the music industry is dead, it's broken because someone can charge £100. It's like, no, you seem to forget industry.
It's the opposite.
Is business. What does business mean?
Yeah.
All that comes down to is viability. If you were selling 10,000 tickets, 20,000 tickets at £100 and they all sell out, that is as pretty close to proof as you can get in terms of business viability.
Yeah.
It is viable. Therefore, any argument you have is subjective. And even on a subjective basis, it's pretty fucking weak. Because what are you going to argue? All right, you can't afford it. Okay, but it's a luxury. All music is a luxury. None of it's an entitlement.
Yeah.
So what are you arguing? Well, I could see 20 unsigned bands for that. I'll tell you what, go and see one unsigned band. You don't have to break the bank. And you're getting great music because you're telling me unsigned music's just as good.
But that's also an argument used by people who don't go and see unsigned bands.
Of course it is.
You know.
Well, that's what we know. And that's where my poking and prodding and having a bit of a laugh with people comes from, because it's like, great, so well, that means the unsigned industry's safe, because the 100,000 people I've just heard complaining, all times 20, because there's all 20 bands you're going to go and see, well, that means they're all going to have full gigs now instead of the empty ones.
But also, if you are you know, I use that term again, righteous indignation, and that, you know, I'm not paying that, and that is your right, and it's their right to charge 100 quid, but it's your right to not pay 100
But this is where
quid.
I love bringing out the analogies,
you know?
and the examples. It's like, okay, I need a car. Right, do you need a car or do you want a car? How much do you earn? Okay, I need a car. All right, second-hand Vauxhall Astra, couple of grand, great. Job done, that's what I need. Yeah, but I'd like a BMW. Okay, go and buy it. Do you go through the same process? Do you have to, basically, did someone else come and look at your finances and break it down on what you should and shouldn't be doing? You've made a choice. You don't need a more expensive car, but you quite like it. It's exactly the same with the gigs. Do I need to go and see Metallica? Well, no, I'd like to, because I'd like to see Metallica. Why don't you go and see 20 unsigned bands? Because it's Metallica I fancy seeing. And actually, I've just been to see 5 this year of the local band, so that's okay, isn't it? But people have to compartmentalise it and put it into this bracket of right and wrong. It's like, no, you go or you don't. You want to or you don't. It's value or it's not. It's really fucking simple.
Well, what makes me laugh as well as where that righteous indignation comes from is where people feel like they're being victimised, like they've been singled out and victimised by Metallica. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we're going to charge 100 quid, so these people can't go, you know, or won't go.
Well, the best one I read, and it was so ridiculous I didn't really have a response, was the only reason they can charge that price is because it's appealing. They're aiming for the casual fans, the hipsters, and the people who want to boast that they've seen Metallica. And that was a
they
that was
do not
argument.
pay £100, you fucking idiots. They will have a stadium. They'll have a stadium full of hardcore fans. They'll have a stadium full of people who go, I don't care fucking how much it is. It's Metallica, I'm going.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And not casual, but because Metallica are in a unique place that they are, do you know what? All those casual fans, hipster fans, the group they've missed out and why they can do it, they will appeal to families. Yeah. It'll be a family day out.
That was my response. Was there are a lot of people I know who are my age now,
admittedly an expensive family day out, but
there are people like our mutual friend Squatter who's taken his son, who's now into Metallica, and Paul's really excited because he's sharing his son's interest. And what an amazing thing to be able to do generationally, to take your son to experience what you did in some extent.
I hope he knows their words.
I doubt it.
He's a disgrace.
He'll take writing credits knowing him. Sorry, Paul. But you know, I know so many people who are doing that. You know, they're taking their friends to gigs to experience the same sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a beautiful thing when we get people turning up, you know, and saying, "Oh, it's his first Acid Rain show," you know, and it's just like that does my head in.
Yeah.
You know, I first saw you when I was introduced to this guy came up to me and he goes, it was at Manchester Rebellion, December last year. This guy came up to me and he goes, I brought my son, it's the first time he's seen you. I was like, oh, great. And he introduced him and he was about 1.5 foot taller than me. And he goes, he's 17. I was just like, this is just mad.
Thanks
a lot.
Thank you. So this is just mad. Just like, I was thinking 17, Jesus. So like we'd split up, we would long split up by the time this dude, you know, was even born. And yeah, that's great. And I know it kindly veered off the £100 a ticket thing. But coming back to that, it will be, I mean, I went to see him at Wembley Stadium, I think 2008, something like that. And the lineup was just phenomenal. You know, it was him, not my thing. Machine Head, I think there was somebody else on as well. You know, it's like there is a.
Yeah, was that one?
You know, it's like you're seeing, and actually Machine Head didn't play and were replaced by Bullet for My Valentine, which is a pretty shit replacement. But it was basically you were seeing 4 headline bands. You know, but the headline is Metallica are charging £100 a ticket, and it's like, well, actually, you're seeing 4 headline bands. Yeah. Seeing 4 headline bands. God, I can't believe I'm going to do this. You see 4 headline bands that would charge, let's say, including Metallica, charging £30 each. Well, that's 120 quid right there.
Yeah.
And okay, so it's not a headline set, but you you know, it kind of does actually balance out.
But the amazing thing this time is the fact that no one's even moaned about Ghost, which is very unusual, considering how dividing they are. But the fact that, let's assume,
I'll moan about Ghost any given day of the week.
But let's assume that you only go to a gig you want to see, which I think should be always be the baseline for an argument anyway. But there are two bands that people pay a lot of money to see and people like.
Yeah.
So
Ghost headlined Bloodstock last year.
Yeah.
So you're getting to see a festival headliner.
The Albert Hall at 200 quid, which sold out. You know, it's like, okay, well, there's a fan base.
They played the Albert Hall, and how much did they charge?
It was 200. Well, I know our friend Rog paid 200 quid. So yeah, good seats.
Fuck me.
But for
let's
me,
let's all slag Ghost off then.
But for me, if it's something special, then if you get the chance to see them, well, you can see them anywhere you want. But if you also get to see them at the Albert Hall, I mean, yeah, I'd go and see my favourite band. That'd be fucking amazing.
If Ghost were playing in my garden, I'd shut the curtains.
Well, I'm not a fan, but I stood there and watched them with our friends Roger and Ange at Bloodstock, and I thought they were brilliant. It was a really, really entertaining headline set, and they were funny, and they held everyone's attention. I kind of looking around and seeing what people enjoyed, just trying to grip onto their vibe, and I got it. I think, you know, I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't go and see them independently, but you know, it's like, well, no, I understand this, and it's the same as anything though. You like it or you don't. And if you like Metallica, you like Ghost, that 100 quid's fucking great value. It really is, because it's going to be a massive gig. If you've never seen them before, fucking amazing. I'm not going because, you know, I've seen them 18, 20 times, and I feel that's enough. That's fine now, life's different. But, you know, if I hadn't seen them, if I'd only seen them a few times, I'd be there. Absolutely be there. The people they're just talking out their fucking assholes.
It's just, but it's yet another thing to moan about, and especially to bash Metallica with, which is quite easy. And I've done it. Like I said, I've bashed Hardwired, and I stand by every word I said. I still.
Yeah, but that's an album you don't like, isn't it? As a Metallica fan, then. Yeah. I think at least you've got a point to make there.
But I'm not gonna bash them out of some misguided principle.
But if you stood there and argued about the price of the album, that would be very different, wouldn't it? You know,
yes.
I can't believe they're charging 20 quid because this album's terrible, in my opinion. That's a very different argument to talking subjectively about what you do and don't like about an album by a band who you like. You know, that's.
Well, I've yet to see a Metallica, genuine Metallica fan slagging off. Slagging off the ticket price. No. You know,
because you understand.
It's just people who are wanting to jump on the bandwagon.
Well, you know, you hear there's every kind of argument you hear about, you know, bands playing for too long, not having support bands. People are sort of quoting back to when Metallica were good value now, which was the Wherever I May Roam tour, which was brilliant, where they played without a support band for 3 hours. That would be destroyed now. If they did that now, someone would find a problem with that. So 3 hours, no support, not supporting local music, rah, rah, rah.
Although, to be fair, Machine Head, a night with Machine Head are doing a very similar thing. And that seems to be not getting slagged off, and people seem to be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that they're pretty much the only band I can think of who's gone out there and done that.
It was brilliant at the time for Metallica doing it. You know, it's fucking amazing. 3 hours, I got to see all those tracks at that point, which I'd not heard before, you know. It was never enough time back then.
Right.
I'm literally going to have to send here.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Fucking amazing.
It's anyway, we're agreeing too much. Let's have an argument.
Very true.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
That's what the countryside does to you, mate. Settled me down, that's for sure.
Well, I have to take my hat off to you and say just the hat. Because you at Bloodstock managed to do something I didn't, which was see bands. I managed 3. I managed Priest, Suicidals, and Exorder. Did you watch them?
Oh yeah, that's one of my all-time.
I thought they were and I'm not an Exorder fan. Don't know.
Oh, okay.
I thought they were excellent.
They were absolutely outstanding.
Great frontman as well. Knows how to talk to an audience. He's a legend.
They were all brilliant. Their stage presence was classic.
Yeah. Also, one of them wearing a Liverpool shirt. Yeah. I thought that threw me.
Well, I'm a massive Exorder fan. Always have been, and never seen him. Very narrowly missed seeing him back in the day, and they nearly came over to the UK and didn't.
Was that their first UK gig then?
I believe so. As far I wouldn't swear by it, but I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
But either way, I'm a huge fan, and it didn't disappoint, because the one thing they've always said, which has always intrigued me, or Kyle has always said, is that they never felt they managed to get on vinyl what they sounded like. They've never managed to capture it. And I think you genuinely saw that at Bloodstock. They just sounded perfection for me. It was just brilliant.
They did. So two of the bands that I saw, we both saw.
Yeah.
Because we saw Suicidals as well.
Again, which was just perfection. The amazing thing is I would pick virtually none of those tracks as my preferred track listing for a gig, which is the same every time Suicidal play, but I never come out disappointed. There's just something about them that they can do whatever they want.
Well,
I love them.
I have to say that I think, in spite, not because of Mike Muir, they had a good gig. I can't be doing with his how can I say, moronic schoolboy morality rants.
I
fell off a skateboard. I fell off that skateboard, and then my brother found me and he said, "Get back on that skateboard." And I got back on that skateboard. And when you fall off a skateboard, you get back on a skateboard. Because when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, and I was
That's
just
pretty
like,
good. That's pretty good.
And then the other one was just,
but it's the way he says it.
You don't want to have people
he's peeking out from that bandana, and he's a legend, and he can say it.
You don't want to have people in your life that just tell you what you want to hear. You want people to tell you what you don't want to hear. That's what's important about life. It's important that you have a brotherhood and you have friends. It's like, Mike, you have noticed that you're telling this audience what they want to hear. Are you aware of the problem? Are you aware of this big
You're not drunk enough.
contradiction?
He preaches to the drunk.
But do you know what? I was with Cookie and
I love it. I love it.
I was Cookie and 8 of his friends. And we all met up, and I knew I was in trouble at the beginning of the day when they were wearing suicidal shirts, suicidal hats, suicidal work coats, suicidal
skateboards.
Yeah, raincoats
through the mud.
And at the end of the gig, we're back at the campsite, and I was going like, and they all just sat there glaring at me, going, "Fuck off, no, he's a fucking legend. He's a fucking legend. He's a god. He's a god."
I'm of that opinion, but I totally understand what you're saying.
And by the way, I really enjoyed the gig.
He's a cliche of his own design,
but the rambling cliched nonsense that it was just really, and you take tab A and you put it in tab B, and that's how things work. Which is basically what he may as well have said. So the penis goes into the vagina, and then sperm is injected into the vagina. The sperm reaches and fertilizes the egg, and that's how human beings made. Oh, Mike, you're such a god! Wow, this is such prophetic genius.
I'm taking it Mike's not on the interview list then anytime soon.
I've heard his interviews; they're painful.
But see, for me, it's just kind of this riffing of lyrics. It's like he's just carrying on the song goes through. I mean, he rambles. It's mental.
But the weird thing is the nature of the fan as well.
It.
I just know there's people going to be listening to this going, "This is sacrilegious. This is blasphemy." They're going to be like punching the speakers or their own ears if they're wearing headphones. H, you're such a cunt.
Totally
He's so much better than you.
It's kind of very basic, but I love it. It just works. It totally captures the spirit of the people standing in front of him.
But I can absolutely dial into that. The set list might not have been what you would have wanted to be. I mean, Clap Like Ozzy, I just think is an embarrassment. I mean, that's a song that should not have made it onto an album. Never mind ever been played live. But they played a couple of songs, if I'm right, off the first album, which for me is an all-time classic.
Yeah. They played Pleasure Allegiance, which is quality. Doesn't get out too often, which is an all-time hardcore fan's favourite.
And there was also a Dave Lombardo nod to Angel of Death, which was brilliant.
Well, we saw them headline. I don't know if you were there. Their headline gig in London.
No, I didn't go to that one. No. I was at the previous one,
which was an extended version of that. And we managed to get on the Stage Invasion twice. Which was good fun, just to get to see Dave and Mike up close.
But I do think that some of the songs were overextended, and one that ST.
That's the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah,
that went on just way too long.
Yeah, it's very much for the fans. I mean, they do really.
There's only so many times you can say ST though.
Well, for you, but if you're the fan, you just get off on it, and he sucks in all the people who are there waiting for it, and he vibes off it, and they absolutely love it, and I admit I was one of them. I totally see everything you're saying, and you're completely right. But I think any other band, I'd be in your shoes.
No, but you know what? I really enjoyed it. I mean, I can sit here and and pick holes, which makes it an even better performance because I am aware of all of this. But I still really enjoyed it, and I did shout "ST" until I was hooked. So
but then berated yourself later.
Yeah, maybe I should shut the fuck up. I'm actually having a go at myself here.
It was one of those lucky accidents, though. The fact that they weren't due to play in the Sophie stage and ended up having to because they were late.
And I think that was a much better gig.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody realised that when it was kicking off.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It was one of those perfect accident moments, wasn't it? It was amazing.
So did you see Priest?
Yep.
Thoughts? Are you a Priest fan to start with?
I am a Priest fan. I'm not a raver. I don't mean that with any homosexual connotations. I'm not someone who really loves Priest, but I love what they are and I really like them. I've always listened to them, always enjoyed the music. I've only ever seen them at festivals though, and I thought they were great. I don't think I got particularly excited, but I thought they were really good, really enjoyable.
Yeah, the set list I found a bit disappointing, and the first song that I actually recognised, I was like, oh yeah, I recognise. Oh fuck me, it's Turbo Lover. Oh god, oh dear.
I knew all the songs. But no, I don't know. I don't think they're ever really...
Richie Faulkner, though, bloody hell.
He's amazing.
I mean, if ever... seriously, there was 9 guys sat around in a tent that night talking about... I tell you what, because most were Welsh, but we were all saying, I tell you what...
If I were a woman...
That guy knows how to fuck a guitar.
I'd suck him off.
I mean, just a presence. But just the way he manoeuvres that guitar.
The way I see
just
Richie Faulkner is, you look at him and you think there is everything he does that would make you fucking hate him.
Yes, absolutely.
He looks like he's
posing,
a posing egotistical,
bastard.
fucking swishy-haired wanker, and then you think, no, I don't. I think he is fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
and he can do it because he's that talented and he's funny and he's charismatic.
But also you can clearly see that he's not doing it going, oh, look at me.
No, he's not.
Look at me.
No, really
he's clearly doing it and loving it, and he's doing it for you. He's not showing off.
No, he's part of Judas Priest.
He's showing it. He's doing it for
it's like
you.
Every 5 seconds, it's that eye connection. Whether, it's the classic thing.
The old Devil
he's looking
Horns
at someone in the crowd going, nodding at someone, and whether he is or not, who knows, but it's that classic, I'm with you, the crowd, and he's part of it, totally just buzzing off people, and he's fucking brilliant, and he's so talented. It's so funny to hear. I don't know if you've seen any of KK Downing trying to come back at him in the press.
Well, that is something that I may have already covered in the podcast, because I think the latest is, I don't know if KK was unhappy with the amount of press he was getting, so he's decided to fucking drag Andy Sneap into it. Yeah. You and Andy Sneap look about as much alike as we do. B, are you aware that he's produced the last 2 albums? Didn't he produce an album with you on it?
Yes.
I mean, he's one of the top 5 metal producers in the world. He's produced at least the last 2 Judas Priest records. He already knew the songs inside out, and he found out 2 weeks before the tour started. What part of that is a calculated getting a KK Downing lookalike in? And also, the whole notion that somebody could be pissed off that he hasn't been asked back when he left of his own volition in the first place does my fucking head in. I mean, that's literally like being in a marriage, divorcing her, then she marries somebody else, and you go, oh, aren't you gonna... I'm a bit disappointed you haven't tried to get back together with me. We just got divorced. You divorced me, you cunt.
Well, the funniest thing about that to me is you actually watch Andy Sneap on stage with them, and I don't know quite how he manages it, but he manages to be very much part of it, but also very humble and very
slightly understated,
reserved.
Slightly understated,
really modest, and in the perfect balance of, okay, this isn't my show, but I'm here and I'm going to put my bit in, and he just finds that balance, and that kind of reflects his whole career, really, in that he's never been someone who stepped forward, but everyone knows who he is, everyone knows how fucking good he is, just because he's fucking good.
But also,
that's not the person you pick up to criticise.
Yeah, and also
someone who's earned it so fucking, like, in a true way. No gloss, no fucking luck, no fame and celebrity. Just fucking hard work and quality of product.
Well, also, I think there's something that hasn't been that KK hasn't factored in, right? And that is exactly the point you're making about Sneapy's performance, which I noticed as well. He plays the whole set knowing that Glenn Tipton is going to come on and play some songs. And it's almost like that whole set is played in reverence to Glenn, who is right there. And then he steps aside and lets Glenn play. So you bring KK back. Is KK okay with stepping aside for a few songs at the end for Glenn, or not? And there's that whole, as Alan Partridge would say, nest of vipers to contend with. But then that's you know, by creating a solution, you've now come up with a problem. You know, and KK's like, well, is he touring or not?
Do you know
no, I'm not stepping aside. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
The interesting thing, and almost the full stop on the conversation, is all the way through the build-up, I didn't hear anyone mention KK.
I don't think there's anybody going,
no one
it's a shame KK down.
He's not part of it, is he?
No.
People know he was, but he's not a missing component because of what they are. He just...
Well, also, I think, you know, they said, you know, the press came out and it was like, look, Glenn's not well enough to do the tour. He's going to play he's going to play a few bits on the occasional date, but we're bringing Andy Sneap in, and who's personally asked by Glenn to do it. Yeah, so ultimately, I think when all is said and done, this is Glenn's call.
Yeah.
And I think the band were okay. The band were, you know, the band have gone, yeah, cool. And Glenn sat Andy down and had a 2-hour conversation about it. And basically, because I know this, because Andy has said this to my face, which is, you know, he sat there and he asked me to do it. He said it wasn't, and he's like, you know, is the answer no? Really? You know, he asked me to do it and told me why he was asking me, you know, why he thought I was such a good fit and all the rest of it, and asked me to do it.
Amazing.
So, and then the news comes out, and I do not see the, oh, it's a real shame KK didn't come back in and doing it. I don't see that group online. I don't see that argument gaining any traction anywhere other than in KK Downing's house.
The fact that no one's even argued back probably says it all, doesn't it? It's like, fuck off. Insignificant.
Well, I mean...
Pathetic.
He stopped doing it of his own volition.
But also, you know, he played a big part, and, you know, there's a lot of credit and kudos and respect to be had if he didn't act a dickhead.
But also...
And that's all gone for me.
Yeah,
now.
but also... Wasn't his reasoning for leaving Priest in the first place that he'd had enough of touring?
I think so. It was something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, if I was in Priest, there's a certain amount of, well, he left so he can go fuck himself. Because there is. Because simple as that, when someone turns around you and tells you they're leaving the band, you can't help but it's rejection. Yeah. When you're getting chucked... You know, if you've never been in a band and you listen to this and you want to know what it feels like when somebody leaves a band, it feels like you're getting chucked. It feels like they're saying, yeah, they're turning their back and they're walking away from you and they don't want to be involved with you anymore.
I mean, I think that's probably...
And it is rejection.
That must be... I mean, it's probably a subject you know a lot more than most about, but that's probably where the fan perspective of reunions versus the reality of reunions is very different in bands. You know, there must always be those kind of very personal reasons alongside the practical reasons why bands change or bands don't come back, you know, when things happen. Yeah,
it's very rare that rifts like that can ever be healed. Very rare. And funnily enough, I'm actually reading a book about Metallica, about a particular part of their history just between certain years.
Yeah.
And it's actually from the Black Album coming out up until the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
And there's loads of stuff in there about the Big Four and all of the musicians talking about how great it is and fuck all any old rivalries and everybody's just, it's great, it's wonderful. And yet, again, all of a sudden, you know, there's not going to be any more Big Four shows, and then people come out and say, oh, it's all because of one person, then people are wondering who that person is. And all of a sudden there's an old division, even when they've been healed, completely healed and all played together. There's old divisions coming up. And you know, that's what happens. And, you know, band relationships are so complicated that if somebody left, there's just nah, you ain't coming back. Do you know what I mean? You made your bed, you lie in it. Do Just because there's now a vacancy doesn't mean you get first refusal.
Or at the very least, you're the one who's making all the fucking reparations and the effort to make it work again, rather than just sat there complaining about why you weren't asked and phoned up, you know.
But there's a double whammy as well, because it's the A, there's the rejection the rest of the band still felt, and B, the fact that the nominated reason for leaving was touring. So it's like, well, so the last
so you're touring
person,
again, and you
so
didn't
the
invite me
last
back?
person in your mind to ring would be the guy who just left because he hated touring. It's just not. It's just not going to be. Yeah, your name's not down. You're not coming on tour.
Yeah, pretty simple, isn't it? That is a full stop to it all.
Absolutely. Funnily enough, do you know what? I was just looking at our arms quite similar. Look, no, the fact that we've got this sort of. We've got a similar amount of freckles. We're similarly not that hairy.
This is what the fans want to hear.
Absolutely. This makes great radio. This makes great radio.
We should point out at this point that we are stripped to our underpants.
Yeah, I tell you what, we should take a picture of our arms.
We've both got fairly ladylike arms, to be fair.
Well, yeah, you might say that. But I've got these crusty old hands. You see, You see, I'm calloused and I've done work.
You'd be amazed at what's been in these hands.
You've got keyboard hands. And obviously we saw the studio earlier, and work is piling in, and you're turning it away by the bucketful. And
I am, which is horrible, because I'm only doing this because I want to work with bands. So to say no when a band would like to work with me is kind of feels counterproductive.
Yeah, unless you're not bothered about that band, though. Well, or you think they're shit.
It's funny because when I first started, I thought I won't ever work with a band I don't really enjoy the music of, but there are real positives to doing that now. You know, I've worked with a couple who I thought, no, they are actually, it's not subjective, they're shit. You know, there are a couple, but considering how many I've worked with, that's so rare. You know, and that's normally been down just to technical things. You know, they actually can't play to a beat. But even with bands I don't really sort of gel with the music, there's always positives, and it's kind of, I'm finding gratification out of working with bands I wouldn't normally choose these days. So if anyone comes to me, you know, that's already a really nice place to be, that they've seen my work and like me. So to say no kind of feels a little bit wrong. So I always try and fit people in, you know, and try and make spaces for people, because just doing what I do is kind of a massive privilege. Not many people are lucky enough to be able to do what they want to do every morning when they wake up, and I can. And it's not really hard work.
Do you do it? So do you kind of do Monday to Friday? Is that kind of thing?
I do. I will never work weekends. Occasionally, there are a couple of emergency bits and pieces I need to do, but my rule is that family's first. That the whole reason for working for myself and going through a career where I've had to work, you know,
shit hours,
60, 70 hours straight on occasion, you know, literally. I always said, when I get to do what I want, I'm not going to work weekends. That's strictly for kids and my family. And I'm trying now, we've moved to change lifestyle and to try and switch off at 6 o'clock. So I'm working a sort of, 9 to 6 rather than 9 to 9.
That was quite interesting, because you said, I'm not going to work weekends, that's for kids. And it's made it sound like you're putting your kids to work at the weekend. Like,
get out there. Yeah. Album cover.
Yeah.
We've got Thrash to produce.
No, get up that fucking chimney.
Yeah. So it's, as much as I love what I do, the double-edged sword is that it's very easy for me to work all the hours and not realise, because I love it. Yeah. You know, if I'm in a position where I'm working at midnight on a job I like, I don't feel tired. I don't feel like I need to stop.
Yeah.
So I need to realise that, you know, I'm missing out on other things in life. So I'm trying to bring it down to a point where I'm working more sociable hours for my family, and that means having to turn work down. But I'm in a privileged position where, you know, I've got long lead times and lots of bookings in, so I can do that.
Have you ever done it the other way round, where you've approached bands other than ourselves, where you've gone like, look, I'd really like to do this, or you've approached a label and said, look, I know you've got these lot.
I've done that a couple of times, and it's never worked.
Well, it has. We let you.
Well, you're not with anyone that matters, though.
True.
But the fact that we knew each other's kind of, it didn't feel like a cold call.
The fact that it was a 5-minute conversation, if that, 5 minutes is being generous. I'll do
that was kind of easy.
I'll do the cover art if you like. Yeah, cool. I can do your lyric video as well if you want. Okay. That was it. Do you know what? Somebody asked me in an interview, they said, the the man who became himself said, yeah. I said, the lyric video. I was like, oh, yeah. And they said, yeah, it's really good. I said, yeah, it's great. I mean, fucking love it. And they're like, yeah, it was wonderful. But I just have to say, you're a very, very live band, and I was surprised that it wasn't a live video. What was the thinking in behind going with a lyric video?
Free.
And I said, well, Andy said he'd do us one for free. It's like, what was the thinking?
With the lack of thinking, it's like nothing to think about.
Yeah.
Well, no, absolutely right. But that's probably where, more seriously linking into why it doesn't work me approaching people. I've been to a couple of bands like, one of my aims is to work with Anthrax, and they do have a lot of lyric videos, and they're all fucking shit. and I would do them for free, and I know I would do. I don't need an ego to say I would do them better. A lot of people around would do them better. There are a few bands that I've approached, and I've not really managed to get the communication through. Like Gruesome, who are like the band who've taken on Death's mantle and are producing music like Death, as in Chuck Schuldina's Death.
Yeah.
I tried to approach them through a couple of email addresses I had, saying, if you want me to do anything, I'd like to work for free, and I never heard anything back. Just because for me it would be a massive deal to work for a band I love. Have you thought
of actually taking an Anthrax song that you like, doing the lyric video, and sending that off and going, yeah, that's probably the right way to do it. This is what I can do. Give me a shout.
Yeah, I think that's actually what I need to do. It's just. Well, it goes back to finding the time to do it.
I know at our level the amount of approaches we get.
Exactly,
and it's sometimes it's like, hey, we're really cheap, and sometimes I'll do it for free, or and whatever.
It's counterproductive.
But also, there is just a kind of and it's very it's quite sad because I'll give anybody a chance, but by the same token, the way this business works is always, it's recommendation. It is, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah. It's the amount.
Yeah, you need to maximise every opportunity. By taking a chance on someone, if there's a risk you don't maximise that, then it's too big a risk. And I understand all these things, I really do, which is probably why I've never really committed to trying to push things, because I think I probably know enough people to be able to get in front of the right people. And you're absolutely right. What I need to do is just produce a video, and I could get that in front of Scott Ian without too much hassle, I'm sure, and it would probably have the effect. But when it comes down to it, I wake up on a Tuesday morning to Wednesday morning, and I've got a booking in, and I think, I need the money, but I've also got a lot of people asking me on a reserve list, if you get any spare space, can you do this for me? And I know how much it's going to mean to them as well, that I can work with them. And sometimes it kind of just makes me forget what I really want to achieve in terms of those sort of, higher objectives. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of those dream things. But, it does come. As we had this conversation earlier about people coming to me, like, for example, Dee Snider and people like that. And that's how I met Flotsam and Jetsam, is through word of mouth. Someone recommended me, and now I'm their artist, their videographer. And I do get the bands I used to love coming to me as well, and it does happen. So I suppose, in a way, that's more rewarding than me approaching anyone. As much as I'd love to get that Anthrax video.
Yes.
If ever, for whatever reason, 5 years down the line, Anthrax came to me, it would mean a hell of a lot more. So, I think probably that's at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm not an outwardly competitive person, but inwardly I am. There are things I like to achieve for myself and things I get a kick out of that I think I would like to do a certain way, and that probably stops me doing things I could do if I put my mind to it.
And setting yourself a goal and achieving it.
Yeah, because you're probably the same. There are a lot of contacts I have through the various endeavours I've had within music that I could exploit to achieve many things that I would probably benefit from or enjoy, but I choose not to, because that's not how I'd like to use or exploit the music industry. I kind of like it to let it do its thing.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be respected as an artist, which I'm getting a humbling amount of respect for, then let that be for my art, not for my pursuit of people.
Yeah, not for your networking skills.
Yeah, and I think that probably, I've not really necessarily thought about it before now, but I think that's probably what it comes down to, is I get a bigger kick out of it when things happen naturally.
Yes. Yeah. No, and that's understandable. I think it's slightly different as a band, because you have to try and make things happen, and also opportunities are so few and far between.
Absolutely. I totally relate to that, because me coming from a band manager point of view, where everything I did as a manager I was learning there and then, I pushed for everything. I mean, I was the opposite then. I would push and exploit everything to begin with to try and achieve what I needed to get what I needed to. I never wanted to offend anyone. I would never push things too far, but I would absolutely push as hard as I could up to the point of not offending someone to achieve what I wanted.
Well, you've got to swing for the fences in a band.
Yeah.
You know, go big or go home, and a number of other cliches. But it is, and also sometimes. And I know you fall into this, where it's sometimes you get asked to do things and you just say yes and you worry about how you're going to fucking pull it off later.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, this kind of comes back to the way I offer advice to younger bands when I'm asked, because I do a little bit of mentoring behind the scenes, usually through the clients I work with anyway, who realise I've done different things. But the best advice I can give people is just to take a step back and stop hassling people. You know, we were all in a position, we've all seen the posts on Facebook where, you know, we're being invited to like a band, or, you know, someone's hassling us to listen to music. And I understand that. You know, we all start there. We all do things wrong.
Yeah.
But the best thing you can do as someone who's hungry for success is realise there's a difference between hassling people and getting to know them, and like I say with my work, allowing people to come to you for things. There's a lot more value in taking a bit more time to get to know someone.
Yeah.
Let them find out what you're about, and then basically let them find out what you've got to offer. Then telling them, I can offer this, even if it's true, telling them how good this thing is that you want them to see, telling them why they've got to see it, and doing it in all the ways that the bad versions of you also do. You know,
it's badgering.
Yeah.
But if you start badgering people, if you start harassing them, because I think a lot of people who don't understand how that side of things works, they're really passionate about what they do, and they think that passion is what's going to get them to where they're going. And somebody being passionate in your face about what they're doing, completely uninvited, can be a massively off-putting experience.
Absolutely.
You know,
because it disregards context, and that's the thing. You know, everybody on Facebook, whether it's Nico McBrain or the drummer you saw down the pub, they both have that same message button on their Facebook profile. So you have the same opportunity to send them the same words. You can ask them both for the same thing. The fact that people don't realise the difference in what you're asking to who you're asking is kind of frightening. You know, but you can do it, so a lot of people just do it.
Yeah.
That also disregards context in terms of, you know, I've heard people saying, oh, fucking promoters never respond to my message. I saw they read it because there's a read receipt on Facebook. Yeah, what was I doing when I read that? I was expecting a really important one from a friend, so I've read my messages. Who's to say I wasn't in the fucking hospital with my child who's having an asthma attack at the time? So I didn't respond to you.
Or on holiday,
but no, the first thing you think to do,
and fucking, you know.
And I've just checked my messages. Oh, it's not important. It's just this guy asking me to like his band for the 95th time, or if he can have a gig. So I'm not going to respond. Yet the consequence with some people, and I've got very specific people in mind who are, you know, serial offenders, well then take to Facebook to complain about those people. And before you know it, the people who don't know how things work, just casual fans, think that's the real world. They see these people negatively talking about the way people don't respond, and suddenly, yeah, promoters are arseholes. And yeah, it's impossible for people to get a gig because this guy couldn't fucking get a message responded to on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not what's happening. That's just what you're saying. And suddenly everybody believes it's a certain way. And before you know it, the tide's going a certain way with people thinking the music scene's fucked when it's not.
Well, I saw somebody in a band who you know moaning about promoters and about what a corrupt business it is, and they must all be getting backhanders because they were not being able to get dates where they wanted in the UK, you know.
The classic.
And I'm sure you know who I mean. And I'm just reading it and thinking, if I'm a promoter and you ever contact me, it's a no.
Yeah.
Because you do your dirty washing in public, you can fuck off. You are trouble.
Yeah.
Before I've even spoken to you, you're just fucking trouble. Because I could give you a gig, but by the looks of your attitude, the towels aren't clean enough, you know, the drinks aren't.
Yep.
Oh, not enough people have come through the doors, and that'll be my fault as well. Not the fact your band's fucking shit, and that you're and that, you know, that your songs are shit, your band's shit, you hardly ever play, nobody knows who the fuck you are, you were fucking nothing then, you're nothing now, But all you do is blame everybody else but yourself. It's all external, never internal. And I just think, well, you know, you're totally and utterly destroying, and I won't say career because I wouldn't call it that, but you're destroying what you have.
Opportunity.
Yeah, you're just putting a light to it, and you know.
And I've done this so many times. There are so many people I've spoken to who I don't do it anymore, but I used to privately message them and say, look, seriously, calm down. You're doing yourself damage. Don't do this. I said, what's happening now is people like me are seeing what you're saying, exactly as you've just said, and we're all going, not them. And behind the scenes, the stuff you don't see is someone to say, that guy, I've heard some rumblings he's a bit difficult to work with. Do you know him? Yeah, avoid him. All right, mate, cheers. None of that makes it into public.
Yeah.
All you see is everybody saying no to you. What you don't see is the reason why, and it's all stemmed back
because of
to word
you.
of mouth from that fucking post you put out.
Yeah.
Where people thought, oh, fuck that.
Well,
I've got 10 other bands to choose from. And yes, there's competition, but you've just made yourself bottom of the list because of what you've done.
But
it's not even your music.
The golden rule as well is you don't do your dirty washing in public. You just don't.
Or you pick it carefully, because there is an opportunity for voicing negativity in context, constructively.
Yeah.
You know, there are issues where you can stimulate debate, where you can talk about things without blaming people. Yeah. There are ways of doing it, you know, and I'm responsible for doing that in the past, but, you know, I do it for my own reasons and usually just for entertainment, but I like to debate things, but you do it constructively, and there are problems you can talk about and you can address. But when you outwardly make it appear that you are blaming your band's lack of progress on someone else, you look like a joke. But what you see in return, the only people who reply to you are your fans, who will reply to you no matter what. You could say anything, and they will like your post. Yeah. They will agree with you. They will
say, "Oh, who are these people?"
They will say something, name and shame, that, and you have got this tangible crowd of people who you think are supporting you, which you mistake for the music scene. Whereas everyone who hasn't responded, who has seen that as well, is talking behind the scenes, putting a big cross next to your name on that application you've just sent in.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. Just don't fucking do it.
Well, I was just sent I was contacted by somebody who is in a band, and they had a very bad experience touring a certain part of the world. And they said, look, would you share this post from our Facebook page, calling out the promoter, he's ripping off bands and all the rest of it. And, you know, and my exact response was, well, look, you know, our social is pretty much all scheduled at the moment it's all from the studio because we're recording at the moment, but, you know, I'll try and squeeze it in. And what that was a holding pattern. And I did my research. I went and I had a look on the post on their Facebook page, and then I found I found the promoter. Yeah. And I looked at his page, and there was clearly, like there always is, two sides to the story. Now, the band were undoubtedly poorly treated, and there were bad things that happened, but when you don't know the line between what the promoter agreed to and what they thought they were getting, and when the two are different, and so they say that they've been ripped off or they've been badly done to, whereas the promoter's saying, well, I didn't agree to do that in the first place. You thought that this meant that, but it doesn't mean that. Yeah. You know, so you're slagging me off for not doing something that I didn't agree to do in the first place, and blah, blah. And also the gigs were really poorly attended. That is very easy to blame on the promoter, but by the same token, you're not the biggest band in the world. So I just looked in between all of it, and I just said, dude, this is your fight, and I'm not putting us in the middle of it. And also, to be frank, I try and keep the Acid Rain page is a positive place. You do not see stuff up there that is slagging people off. You don't see stuff up there moaning. You don't see, and if any moaning or any of that shit breaks out, that breaks out in comments amongst people, amongst themselves. Yeah. And they can do that as much as they want, but we don't post anything negative, and I'm not going to break that rule and start posting something negative. It's got nothing to do with us. And a fight that I've got, you know, I haven't got a dog in that fight. Yes, I'm your buddy, but I'm not dragging my entire band into this.
Here's my support privately.
To help you out. you know. And also, it's like, then it just becomes that promoter's talking to other promoters to back him, and they're talking to more bands to back them, and it's like, well, it's just a bun fight, and this is between the two of you, so figure it out or don't.
But then a lot of time people have allegiances that they can't avoid. You know, professionally speaking, you have to support people. You don't have to be actively supporting everyone all the time. But there are times where you can't show dissent because you've got 2 of their bands booked. If they're a booker, you've got a gig booked with them or something. You know, there is some interest where maybe you think, okay, this time I've just got to let things roll.
Well, what about that conversation we had earlier about 2 major promoters in the UK, you know, and one doing something and the other saying, well, hang on, you can't do that because of this, and them saying, well, actually, I think you'll find, have a look. And oh, shit. And that's big promoters. Top level, big promoters, big bands. One thinking there was something in the contract that there wasn't. And actually, so the other going and doing something.
But the really positive thing about that was, and unfortunately, the only people who, in that situation, I mean, we won't make it obvious we'll talk about, the only person who probably went too far was the band.
Yeah.
In talking about things too specifically, because actually the other parties had stayed fairly quiet about it.
Yes.
And which is a good thing, and it means you can kind of say, okay, I was wrong and I apologise without looking like a fucking idiot.
But also...
But the band got embroiled in it.
Yeah, they did, but also, I have to call, it's a dick move, what they did.
Yeah.
That, you know, that was a dick move.
Yeah.
Because that made it go public.
Uh-huh.
And it could have all stayed in-house and been ironed out. But what that involved was 2 people...
Yeah.
Banging heads and one going, right, I'll fix you then.
But you're absolutely right. But it was probably the best situation or the least damaging situation that you could have had given people making things public.
Absolutely. I don't know where we were there. We stopped and taken pints on board, and it is still absolutely stunning.
I'm most definitely sunburned. Mm-hmm. Having sneaked a peek in the toilet mirror, I am rouge.
Yeah, so we started this conversation, and literally you have been sunburned during the course of it. Because the first bit was pre-lunch, so we had a big old lunch with your lovely wife as well, and then it's more metal chat afterwards, and it's
my skin's tighter than Mick Wood's wallet.
Oh, hey. Are you listening, Mick?
Probably not. I can see a message has popped in from him.
Oh, right.
Yeah, probably not. He'll be in bed still, Mick.
So what's in the works? You got anything that you're particularly excited about?
No, nothing particularly. Nothing major coming up. Now you mention it. Well, no, I mean, that's kind of spread over time. But yeah, obviously, we are working together on the new Acid Rain artwork.
Yes.
That's great.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of coming up soon, but and ongoing. And
yeah, because it's those worst of jobs, isn't it? No deadline.
Well, it would be if it weren't someone I liked going through this process with. Right. As we've discussed, you know, off air, so to speak, already, we are a couple of people who kind of just brainstorm and come up with good ideas, and it works. And I think when it works, then that's the way to keep doing things.
Yes.
So I think you know I've got time coming up to come up with my ideas. Cheers. And then we'll continue to refine and change and improve, and it'll get better.
Knock backwards and forwards. I think you know I'm keen to develop a theme that is capable of holding up, you know, a real kind of theme that is like, you know, it's not just a cover. It's, you know, it's not just you take the cover and stick it on a t-shirt.
But also, from my point of view, or from our point of view, which is relevant to these podcasts. You know, the 3rd time you've invited me to talk nonsense now.
Because you're so good at it. Says me.
I do get through the pints looking at these empty glasses.
Yes.
But ever since we've done this, it's always been this conversation has been based around you playing me the stems and then the demos and the ideas and talking about the album and actually, you know, my understanding of where the album's going kind of is sat with the conversations we've had here, you know.
Well, I would say
it's been interesting.
I'd go so far as to say that you are one of only 2 people outside of the band who have heard every song.
That's nice to hear. Very nice.
So, you know, if you weren't doing the cover, you wouldn't have heard any. You know, fuck you. Punters, fucking hell. No, I mean it's you know but I felt it was important for this exact reason.
Well, as a result, my investment in the artwork isn't a day next week where you've booked me. It's
and also
I want to make it right for those songs.
But also like right from the inception of the whole writing. I mean,
we've been through 2 ideas already that we were absolutely certain were right, and we've probably moved on since.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way it works. So if we'd committed to one, or I'd just been the artist, then we'd probably have the wrong thing, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that interview continues on the Patreon podcast. That's right, you can get to me on Patreon. That is Howard H. Smith. Sorry, I've gone on about that all wrong. It's www.patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. Subscribe there for $5 a month, and at the first Friday of every month you get a shed load of exclusive content. There's a load of stuff going on with Acid Rain. You get a load of content for that, and you get a Bollocast all of your own, and the rest of that interview will continues there, about half an hour of it. So there you go. I'm not going to make a regular feature of that. I'm not going to chop interviews for you guys. It's just that with this particular month, that's something that I had to do. Don't want to go into it too much, but anyway, look. I don't want to shortchange you bollockers who aren't interested in signing up for Patreon. I totally understand it's not everyone's thing. Maybe you just don't like the show that much, and that's fine. That's cool. And I'm like I said, honestly, this is not something that's going to become a regular thing. I don't want you guys to feel shortchanged. It's just it's a little bit of a one-off. Okay, I can't say it won't happen again at some point, but I'm going to try and make sure that it doesn't. Okay, there you go. So, back to, I've completely not talked about, what a great interview. I mean, that was one of the most enjoyable days I've had this year. Andy is great company, as you can hear. We agree on a lot of stuff, and we disagree on a lot of stuff, but we can also agree to disagree on a lot of stuff, and I think that's what's most important. I know he feels passionately on stuff, and he'll have his point of view, and I'll feel passionately on stuff, and I'll have my point of view. But we can respect each other's point of view, kids. We don't have to shout each other down and make the other one agree with us. And if they don't, they're a cunt. In other words, it's real life, not social media. And it's just great to see him. It was, honestly, you can tell there. I mean, we were sat in a beer garden and you just don't hear like anything. It's there's no external noise or anything, and it was just an absolutely wonderful day in the sun, beautiful, idyllic setting, and that's all I can say. It was great. Anyway, that's enough of me going on about what a great time I had. Hope you had a great time listening to it. So yeah, it is back to KK Downing. So here we go. This is KK in his own words. No, I'm not able to do it for whatever reason. At least I would have been... this is the tour, and he's talking about... He said, at least it would have been good for them, as in the fans. They could say... Oh, no, for the band. They could say, well, we asked KK because we understand that fans have a voice too. The fans are responsible for our success. The fans have been loyal to us for 40 years. The fans also have a voice and an opinion. But they didn't do that, which I think was wrong. I think that was wrong to do that. But obviously, if I had said, yes, I'll step in and resume my position, then I think that I had a right to do that, really, because I wasn't able to continue with Glenn towards the end. Now, what can I say? Right. This whole thing, you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, "Oh, fans, it's all about you. Oh, I think the fans have been cheated out of me." It's pretty transparent what he's trying to do, and it's absolute bollocks, right? Really? No, the fans don't have a say. Yes, the fans are responsible for the success. Yes, they've been loyal for 40 years. But no, the fans also have a voice and an opinion. Yes, they have a voice and an opinion, but they're not in the band. You do not do things like that for the fans. You know, oh, hey, fans, who do you think should be our next member? The band have got to live with each other for months on end on the road, and it's quite clear that they don't get on anymore. Why would they ask you, KK, to do the fucking tour? Get it out your fucking head, will you? And it's just, and then, I mean, it's just bullshit, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, the fans. I mean, trying to use the fans as a hammer with which to beat the band is absolutely rubbish, right? And then he goes on to talk about this a little later in the month. He says, the first time he left, he is previously described as he wrote a graceful exit note implying a smooth retirement from music. Whilst the second was angrier, laying out all the frustrations with specific parties. He explained, originally my thoughts were, something strange is happening to me and I don't like how it feels. But I could feel like I was going to pick up the phone or I was going to do something rash. So I sat down, put pen to paper and actually wrote a gracious resignation letter. I did use the word retirement and I said I was retiring from the business and I wanted to keep the peace and not burn any bridges. I wanted to do all of that and I did. I was consistent with my personality. I did that. I thought that obviously... I'm still a director of the company. I'm still involved. I thought I'm going to have to speak to these people and deal with them. So I thought this is the way to do it. I will be out. If somebody wants it, they can have it. Fine. It's yours. I'm going. So I did that. But as soon as it was announced to the press, I was out. A spark was lit. And I just went over the edge and I sent a second letter saying, please ignore my original leaving letter. And I sent it, the second letter, and it was a bit more to the point. Shall we say it was a bit more of a fuck off letter. And that was it. That was me quitting. I went against my grain of my normal personality. No, you didn't go against the grain of your normal personality. That's who you are. So basically what he's saying is he retired and he was kept gracious. And then all of a sudden, when it was made public, He threw his toys out the pram is what he's saying. He threw his toys out the pram. This is a guy that previously in the month was saying, oh, they should have really asked me and it would have been nice for the fans. And then he's basically saying he wrote a letter telling them to fuck off. Is it any fucking wonder they didn't ask you, you stupid old bastard? Honestly, it's fucking pathetic. And, I mean, the guy has got a book to sell and he is fucking, I tell you, he is fucking selling it. In fact, I'm not mentioning it again. I've just realised I'm advertising his fucking book. You dickhead, Howard. I just fucking slammed my hand into my forehead in frustration and smacked myself on my fucking cut. And it fucking hurts, you stupid twat. Oh, 2 acts of complete twattishness. Just absolutely hard on the heels of one another. Firstly, advertising KK's book. I've fallen into that trap. Secondly, smacking myself in the head whilst, honestly, it's a wonder anybody fucking listens to this. Just listening to one man disintegrate over nothing. Absolutely pathetic. For fuck's sake. But look, aside from KK, there's lots of people who aren't in bands, ex-members, talking about old bands they used to be in all the time. Fucking Ace Frehley's at it, KK's at it, Sebastian Bach's at it. Even fucking Dave Lombardo came out with a classic. He claimed that Jeff would have kept Slayer going if he were alive. Really? That is despite Dave and other members previously saying that Jeff's playing wasn't up to scratch anymore, and I'm not that is a contradiction for a start, and I think that's really, I don't know, I think that's a comment made in bad taste by Lombardo, saying that oh yeah, Jeff would have kept it going. I don't know, it's kind of like it's almost having a pop at the current band, and it's quite clear Jeff wouldn't have kept it going, because without Tom Araya there is no Slayer. You cannot carry on without the voice of Slayer. The voice of Slayer for fucking 40 years. No, I'm sorry, there is no carrying on. So no, I don't think Jeff would have carried it on, Dave. But you knew him better. So apparently that means it's okay for Dave Lombardo to say fucking stupid shit like that. But hey, there you go. Anyway. And the ongoing Ronnie Dio hologram saga, and who chipped in this month, Howard? Was it Wendy Dio again? No. Was it Claude Schnell again? No. Was it Craig Goldie again? No. What have they all got in common, Howard? Well, one was Dio's wife, and 2 of them played in the band. Was it Vivian Campbell, who was also played in the band with him? No. Was it Vinny Appice, who also played in the band with him? No. Oh, come on then. Who was it? Oh, I'll tell you who it was. It was that heavy metal titan, Tim Ripper Owens. You know, the guy who said he's going to record the 2 Judas Priest albums he did again because people have forgotten about them. Well, believe you and me, Tim, you re-recording them is not going to remind... The only thing that's going to do is remind people of why those albums have been forgotten. But now Tim decides to weigh in on the hologram, and what does he say? He says, oh, I don't understand why people don't like the hologram. Well, yeah, you can imagine, can't you? There is an ego talking. He's already going to reanimate the corpses of those 2 old Judas Priest albums. And the reason why he can't understand what people's problems is he loves the idea of there being a hologram living on after his death of Tim Ripper Owens. Eh? There's an ego completely out of control, isn't there? Oh yeah, I'll go on after my death. Oh, definitely. I want to carry on singing after my death. I want to be playing gigs after my death. Fucking hell. Give it a fucking rest, will you? Honestly, people talking about bands they used to be in, it's just pathetic. It's just low class. It really is. There's nobody got any shame anymore. Stop doing your dirty washing in public. Stop it. I mean, on my spoken word shows, right, I do talk about some tensions that we had in Acid Rain. I talk about, breakups that people never heard of and that never came to pass. But I don't mention names. I don't single people out. I tell people, a kind of, roughly what happened, argument on tour or whatever. But I'm not going to delve into who said what and, in fact, who was involved. I'm just purely going to... just mention it as an aside. But these people are just fucking gobbing off in the press. It does my fucking head in. It really does. Just, you're not in that band anymore. Okay? You're not in that band anymore. So you don't have a say. And I just think it's a really classist thing for Lombardo to say that, oh, if Jeff was around, he'd have kept Slayer going. I just think that is really fucking low and poor. And it's not, and he doesn't mean it. He's just having a go. He's just trying to get under the skin of the other band members. Because without Tom, no, it's not being kept together. For fuck's sake. I'm getting sucked into that maelstrom now. So anyway, it's time for another interview. Now, this next interview was conducted with none other than Tim, who runs... what is it? This is brilliant. Mass Movement, which is a very well-known thrash... you'll hear thrash, hardcore, all that kind of stuff. He's been working on it since. Tim Cundle. I do apologise, Tim. I was just looking up your surname there on my phone. We are now friends on Facebook, so there you go. But yeah, Tim's been working on it since 1998. When it was first created. This is a proper old school chat about all things old school. You'll hear about how the magazine started out as a magazine, ended up being just digital. So after you've listened to this interview, go and check out Mass Movement. Here is my interview with Tim Cundle from very recently, in fact, last night. Not that that's relevant when you're listening to this, because you could be listening to this years in the future. But, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Tim and I spoke very recently, and here it is.
Hello?
Hello, is that Tim the Enchanter?
It is, mate. How are you?
I'm fine, man. How are you?
I'm not bad, brother.
Good. So, I presume I'm speaking to the Bridgend branch of Mass Movement and not the New York branch.
Right, it's Florida, mate, but he's out of he's sort of out of things at the moment because his house got destroyed by Hurricane Michael.
Oh no, man, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's completely busted.
Oh, lost you. What the hell's happened there? Right.
Started, yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry, I lost you there. You said house is completely busted, and for some reason the phone...
Jim, who's our deputy editor who lives in Florida, he lost everything in Hurricane Michael. It was just him and his family just lost literally everything.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
Yeah.
So is everything on you at the moment then?
Yeah, but I'm used to that. Been doing that for 20 years, mate. You know what I mean? Carrying it all on my fucking shoulders, like, so it's just the way it is, like.
So, obviously, I know Bridgend quite well because I've been there, twice over the last few months, finishing up our new album.
Well, I saw you was it last Christmas or the Christmas before?
Ah, right, okay. What, when we played?
Oh yeah.
The one-off Christmas show.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh man, that was awesome. And I mean, Hobos is a proper venue. We had a blast.
Well, it's a good place, and it's odd to have it in this town, like, you know what I mean? Because we put on shows. Well, I put on shows with a couple of other guys like 15 to 18 years ago, and we never had a purpose-built venue. You know what I mean? It was all like the football club. We'd bring in Stamping Ground and Buried Alive and those kind of bands and Freebase. And the kids would turn up. Well, they wouldn't turn up. But with Hobos, they turn up because the booze is there, and it's a good sound system.
It is. I mean, it's a great little venue, and the promoter is actually a friend of Cookie's, our guitarist. So that's how we've ended up playing Hobos a couple of times. But it's been a blast every time, and people turn out for it, which is great.
So that was the third time I've seen you, and it was the first time in, I don't know, 88 when you played in Nuclear Assault.
Wow! All right, you were at St David's Hall.
Yeah, and then you played with.
Yeah, that's right. Just bear with me a second because I've got to reconnect you to my speaker. Right, there we go.
Right.
Yeah. So that was Reanimator, ourselves, and obviously supporting Nuclear Assault. That was epic because that was I remember the night clearly because security were beating kids up and Kev stopped the song and wanted to kick their heads in.
Didn't you headline the place as well a little bit after that? Because I seem to remember seeing you there playing your own show.
No. We only ever played Cardiff once. We were supposed to play a second time supporting Exodus, but the venue wasn't open.
Right.
The venue didn't get the fire certificate on the day. So we just kind of hung around in Cardiff and went for a curry instead.
There's worse places you could be. Not many, but there are worse places.
But funnily enough, you're the second person to mention to me whether we played St David's Hall twice, which is.
I've got a distinct memory that you guys played a headline set there.
Oh God, no! I mean, St David's Hall was massive. We were never big enough. I tell you where we did well. We played Wrexham a couple of times, the Memorial Hall.
It might have been that. But because when you played with Nuclear Assault, they closed all the balconies off, and it was just the stalls.
Yeah.
That show. I just seem to remember you doing the same thing there by yourselves.
Yeah, that's the old memory catching up with you there, mate.
It's dementia. It is. I swear to God. Something's gone wrong anyway.
Well, look, we're all still alright. So you are an absolute veteran of the scene.
Yeah, sort of. yeah. That's a nice way of saying I'm old. Yes.
Well, look, forgive my ignorance, but let's go back to the beginning and how mass movement got started.
Right. Jesus, that'll be 98, and I just stopped playing in a band because we, usual differences, and we were much better drinking than we were actually playing music. You know what I mean? So
right, okay.
We kind of figured out it's time to part ways, and I've been writing for other people, and I just finished my journalism qualification, and Mrs. actually said, well, why don't you start doing something so you can do things your own way? So I did, and I believe the first issue was cut and paste, illicitly photocopied after work and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
April '98.
Wow. That is properly old school. That is going back in the day.
Yeah.
So, and I guess you've come full circle because you stopped the printed version fairly recently.
Yeah, it was about let's see, it must be 2008 when we did our last printed version, but we were doing sort of between 2008 and 2012, 2013 maybe, we were doing free downloadable issues, and there's still some on the site which you can just download. We did this PDFs, which we just download for free, because my big thing was always I wanted to make the magazine free, but with print costs and advert costs and everything else, nothing ever weighed up, so you had to actually charge for it. So yeah, but it's the print costs actually pushed it out of being able to release a print magazine, because it was the same with everybody. The costs went through the roof. Between one issue and the next issue, the costs doubled, so we just couldn't afford to do it. So I didn't want to charge people £5 a magazine. You know what I mean?
That's insane. Doubling the costs on you. And what was that? Was that just the printers? Was that the
it was print,
paper costs?
It was shipping. It was all sorts of different things. So I mean, we'd have it printed in a central location, and then we'd have X amount of copies shipped out to the Netherlands and X amount of copies shipped out to the States, and we'd keep X amount of copies here.
Yeah.
Roughly a third of each run went out to those places. And the shipping went through the roof because petrol costs went up. Print costs went up because they needed to keep up with other people. It was insane. We went from having to pay, say, $4.5 grand for the issue to paying nearly 10 grand for it, and it was impossible to do. We switched to just doing stuff on the web.
Yeah. So basically, it was a move you were kind of forced into more than anything else.
Oh, completely, absolutely. I mean, I'd still be doing print stuff now if I could. You know what I mean? Because once that stuff gets in your blood, it stays in your blood forever.
Yeah.
But,
I know exactly what you're talking about, mate. I mean, I used to go down to WH Smith's and read Kerrang, and I used to buy it religiously. Then I took to going down and reading through it and seeing if we were in it. If we were in it, I'd buy it, and if we weren't, I wouldn't.
Thing is, with Kerrang, it was really sort of all right back in the early '80s to mid '80s. You know what I mean? And then it started covering thrash, but Metal Forces always did it so much better.
Yeah.
And it was once you discover Metal Forces, you're like, who wants the poses in Kerrang? Because you've been a teenager, you don't know any different back then, do you? Poses and that kind of stuff.
But also, the thing with Kerrang and what they had on everybody was that they were weekly, and Metal Forces was monthly, and sometimes it wasn't exactly definitely monthly, and sometimes it would be you'd be able to find it, and sometimes you wouldn't.
It was always like record store based. So I'd have to go into travel 5 miles to get my copy at least, or then it became like harder to get. So you have to go to Cardiff, which is a 20-mile journey. And when you're 15, 16, it's not all that easy to do, but you do it because you want to read the magazine, and that's what you do, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, I think Metal Forces always felt like more of a fanzine because it essentially was. It was fans who turned into journalists rather than music journalists who quite liked heavy metal. Right, but I guess that's why I liked it, because it was a much more honest magazine. Because you look at Kerrang, and they were always running pay-for-play features. You know what I mean? Because one week there'd be a cover with prints on it. There was actually a cover of Kerrang actually had a print on one of their covers. And I'm not denigrating Prince at all, because great musician, but did he belong in Kerrang? I don't think so. So. Yeah, well, there is that famous issue in the 90s where they had Oasis on the cover, isn't there? And you knew it was definitely over by then.
Did they? I mean, I stopped reading Kerrang at the end of the 80s. I have no... They had Oasis on the cover.
Yeah, in the 90s, which is just frightening. Frightening. But, so you guys cover all sorts of music. I mean, obviously it's more on the like harder edge of metal and punk and crossover and stuff like that.
Right.
Do you have any kind of sort of is it just you just feature who you like? You know what? Or is there a sort of right? No, we're not going to feature them because.
Well, I guess we kind of feature we like when we'll listen to any kind of music and bands. I mean, bands we won't feature tend to be not featured because they have political ideology maybe, and
right.
They bring up some kind of repulsive ideas which we don't personally agree with, and so that kind of slates your view towards their music. So what's the point in us doing it? You know what I mean? We can't give anything like that an honest opinion because bias comes into it. But it's more the stuff we were brought up on, I guess. So it's hardcore and thrash and power metal and punk rock. So yeah, we are geared towards that sort of market.
Yeah, no, definitely. And do you tie in with Eperfest at all?
Right. No, not even. Our old, one of our staffers, Martin, who was at one point our deputy editor, he lives in the Benelux. So he did a lot of stuff with EPA and he did a lot of stuff with Grows Rock, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, so no, we know hardcore scene is a really small place, believe it or not, globally, and everybody sort of knows each other, or if you don't know somebody, you know somebody who does know them. So, we know the guys who are heavily involved with EPA, and they know us mainly through association, because when you get to wrong side of 40, right side of 50, you kind of, and you've been to so many shows, you just make your own networks, and people, I guess that was the way we came up, because we made a network, because we did everything the old-fashioned DIY way, and everything was networked. We've just sort of stuck to that, and keep hold of it, I guess.
Well, yeah, and it's right what you say about it being a small world, because, I'm amazed, coming back with the band and the amount of people that bump into and it's like, oh yeah, so and so, yeah, well I know him through. And it's like, oh bloody hell, it always amazes me. Now it's more actually just getting the children of people coming up and saying, oh well, that's my dad or that's my mum.
Well, my dad had your record, you know what I mean?
Oh, fucking hell, you didn't have to say that, did you?
Well, yeah, it's like that, My dad read your magazine, you know what I mean? He read it back in 1998. Oh, fucking hell's your dad like? You know?
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. When you go to shows these days, you end up standing at the back, not because you don't want to dance, but because you're fucking back on your knees, you've given out years ago, and you can't dance. So you just stand there and nod your head. It's like you're making notes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I got to be honest. It's not often I get down the front these days. But I'm more about chucking myself around on stage than off stage.
Mate, you would do it like when you played Hobos. You were doing stuff that I was thinking, how old is this guy? You know, if I did that, I'd be rubbing Bengay at my knees for the next 6 months.
Well, look, no wife, no kids. That really that helps.
See, that's the difference.
Yeah, honestly, mate, I swear it is the difference. It is the difference.
Right.
But hey, that's just that's just the way life's turned out. But I noticed you had an article about Moose's new project, Moose from Bullet for My Valentine.
Right. Well, like I said, small town. Everybody knows. Small scene, it's an even smaller town.
Yeah.
One of the guys, one of our staff, is Ian, is a great friend of Moose. So he knows everything's going on with Moose. So Moose said, "Can you run this first?" And Ian said, "Can we do it?" It's like, "Yeah, no problem at all." If somebody wants to do something, they're cool with us. We'll be cool with them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm sure like you, I've heard a couple of early bits and pieces from the studio, and it's sounding fucking heavy as hell. It
is going to be something special. I mean, I don't know what went down with the band and with him. I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
Their thing. I mean, one of the things you learn as you get older is just keep it completely impersonal, that kind of stuff. never want to get involved in those kind of disputes or arguments.
Well, the thing is, it's all you just can't because you're well, as it is, you're involved because you've printed an article. So in the Bullet camp, you'll have been seen to be pro them and pro him and anti them.
Right, exactly. But at the same time, I'm not pro anybody or anti anybody, or we're not, rather. It's just, if they asked us to do something similar, it'd be like, okay, yeah, we'll do that for you. But it's about who asks us to do what, you know what I mean? And we're not, it's not like, not that I want to side with anybody, because that stuff is that kind of stuff with bands, it always gets really personal and humorous. Like, when Ashes Rain went the first time, there must have been some wounds that were left to sort of fester.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talk about that when I do my spoken word shows, which is you know, I mean, not to any extent where like any names are mentioned, but yeah, I mean, you know, when you get people, you know, well, you know, you've been in a band, and you know, it's when you're together for that amount of hours, you know, things are gonna fester and things are gonna kick off now and again.
Oh yeah, because people natural. I mean, my natural tendency is that I don't suffer fools gladly. And I'm not saying that any of the guys I was in the bands with the fools, but if somebody does something that irritates me, I kind of focus on that, and that's sort of why I don't do the band much anymore, because I can't be in a closed room with people.
I was going to say you sound like the exact kind of perfect person to not be in a band.
Yeah, well, this is it. I did it for about 18 months. The band split early this year, so just to play really fast hardcore. Yeah. And it got to a point where I'm sitting in my house on a Sunday afternoon and thinking, I'm watching a documentary about roller coasters, or I can go and rehearse with the band. And I'm not enjoying doing that as much as I am doing my own thing. So,
well, that's
fine.
Yeah, I mean, and you did exactly the right thing. And you know, ultimately, you got to do what makes you happy.
Right, but you know, there's no point in dragging anybody else through the misery and dragging it out and then thinking, oh well, because you're just gonna make everybody else unhappy. And that's the last thing I wanted to do, because these guys are friends and they're still friends. And I wanted to keep that friendship rather than flog something to death, which didn't need to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So most of your day has got to be spent combing through emails from like thrash hardcore bands from all over the world saying, please feature us, or labels doing exactly the same.
Right. Yeah. And it's increasingly difficult, because we're getting on average maybe 50, 60 records sent a day.
Fucking hell.
And to try and siphon that down to what we can actually do and devote time to is really, really difficult. Yeah. So you've just got to go, okay, what do we know? What don't we know? And if we know something, if we can listen to something and give an honest opinion about it, and with a little bit of knowledge behind it, that's what we'll focus on, rather than something that we don't know anything about. Yeah. So that's kind of the way.
And unfortunately, that is the way of things. I mean, it's, you know, people in bands who are starting out and everything. That's the last thing I want to hear. But unfortunately, this comes with what happens when any band can record something and put it out. You know, and I'm not saying the old days were better. I'm not saying this is better. I mean, it's just the fact that back in the day, you would have had X amount of labels sending you X amount a month, whereas now it is literally any fucker can send you anything and call it an album.
Right, but back in the old days, right, if for a label to hear about a band, that band had to get out there and play a ton of shows first. They had to build up some sort of credibility.
Yeah.
Now bands are just going, well, we formed a month ago, we've written 5 or 6 songs, we've not played the show, let's record them and bung them out and call it an EP. And that's not an EP. If you can't reproduce that live, if you can't get out there and make me want to go, okay, you're a great live band, I don't really think you should be putting out a record.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a shitload of shows over the years, so you've got to be something special to impress me.
Well, what?
I'm trying to sound arrogant, it's just, I've seen all the moves, you know what I mean? And I've seen, just like you have. You know, we know what we're going to see when we see a band.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's like you say, you know, it's people. The stuff that's gonna catch your eye is gonna be the right. I recognise that name. And you might not even know why, but that's enough for you to go right. Okay, I'm going to give this a listen, and that is why you need to be out there doing more than, like you said, you know. Oh, we've been together 6 months and we've put this EP out, we've recorded 5 songs, we haven't played any gigs. And it's like, well, what you've got there is a really well-produced rehearsal.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's what we used to call a demo. Send it off, which people used to trade in, you know, by mail.
Yeah.
That's how people heard about bands, because we used to trade this stuff by mail. Now it's like, here's our Facebook page, invite all your friends, get all your friends, stuff like that. And then you've built up an instant profile without having actually done anything to earn your stripes. It sounds terrible, but it's just the way.
My favourite is the band who's got they've got the band photos, they've got the logo,
right.
they've got the name, they've got the logo, they've got the photos, they've got the merch, they've got no music to listen to and haven't done a gig yet.
I know. Who told them that was a good idea? You know.
Well, it's just rampant ego, isn't it? It is just rampant ego, and you know, and that's what happens when, you know, a bunch of egos get together and have internet access.
But it's also, but you know, when we started going to shows and stuff, people would heckle bands, you know, if they didn't like them. Bands would get off and they would talk to you, and you know, there was a relationship you had with bands. Everybody would play smaller clubs, they'd crash at people's houses, you'd do all this kind of stuff, and now it just seems like that whole underground network is starting to disappear. It's being replaced by some sort of digital monstrosity that has no relevance or bearing on what things used to be like.
Well, I tell you what, instead of just sounding like a couple of old whinging cunts, what I do want to ask is, right, who are some of the bands that have impressed you recently?
Recently?
That you know, be it new or old, whatever, or like, you know, bands that you've discovered, or people listening to this where you go, look, I urge you to check these guys out because they're doing something worthwhile.
7 days a week, every hour of the day, Municipal Waste. Absolutely incredible band, right? From their first album to their current album, they've not put a foot wrong. Ensiferum, another incredible band. Because when we listen to metal now, it's going to be completely over the top and overblown. And Sheer Terror, who've recently done a reunion and come back, they are punching so far above everybody at the moment. They are just incredible. Their last EP, Paul and the Family, it's on Reaper Records. Everybody should check that out. It's absolutely incredible. And like John Joseph's new band, you heard Blood Clot?
I've heard a little bit, but I'm not sure if it was pre-release stuff or whether it was off the album.
Mate, that record is fantastic. Just like, and there's just so much great stuff coming out in the hardcore scene at the moment. The Beat Tracks again. That's Brian Baker from Bad Religion's side band.
Sorry, what was the name of the band?
Beat Tracks.
Right, okay.
They're on Bridge 9. They released an EP. It just sounds like really, really fast, old school DC hardcore. Really good. Just fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Sorry.
No. Oh, Natterers. Have you heard them?
Who?
Natterers. As in, like, the Natterer bat. I think they're from up north somewhere, Leeds Way.
Right, okay, shit. Well, I should have known about them, no.
Sound like the Dead Kennedys, and Big Boy's got a really sort of jangly, angry guitar stuff going on. One of the best punk bands you'll hear in a long time. Maybe the best punk bands we've got in the UK in the last 5 years. Oh,
well, that's definitely got my attention. Natterers,
they're called. The album's on, I think, Boss Tunage. And as for, we've got some great local bands because we're kind of spoiled around here. We got Bad Sam, who used to be the Cowboy Killers. A band called Question the Mark, who do the sort of hot water music, Florida thing really, really well. Drunk Marksman, who used to be Rectify. So there's a lot of great punk bands coming out from down this way.
Yeah.
Oh, my mate's band, Nicotine City, would do the glam rock thing. Sort of glam rock, punk rock thing. You know what I mean? New York Dolzy.
Yeah.
Except, you know, they're not exactly in the same looks department as the New York Dolls.
Oh my God, it's Tiger Tails all over again.
Oh, mate, they make Tiger Tails look like the prettiest band you've ever seen.
Oh, brilliant.
But they're nice guys and they play good music, so, you know, you can always buy a pint and look at the floor while you listen to them play.
Well, that also sounds like Tiger Tails. And I speak as somebody who's performed on stage with Tiger Tails at least 3 times.
Yeah. No, I see another band that completely passed me by, because when they were coming up with the big hair and all that kind of stuff, it was the furthest thing from my mind, you know, because I just discovered thrash and I was listening to hardcore and I was listening to punk rock, and all I was thinking was, oh, good grief, look at you, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a terrible, jaded sort of thing for any teenager to think, well, but you don't realise how hypocritical you're being. I mean, look at you, you scruffy little turd, you know?
Well, it's I know exactly what you mean, but funnily enough, I mean, we because we were on the same label as Tiger Tails, we bumped into them a few times, and they were just we had more in common with Tiger Tails than most thrash bands, because they didn't give a shit. I mean, yes, they got all dolled up and all that, but they didn't give a fuck. Pepsi Tate was one of the great people of the scene back in the day. I remember him bumping into him at Donington when I was down there one year. It was 11 in the morning and he was absolutely pilled off his head. And yeah, I mean, I got up and did Creeping Death and P-Cells, but who's buying with them a few times, and they were just such a fucking laugh. They used to come see us, we used to go and see them, and yeah, I mean, they really were one of the bands that we were kind of busy mates with. Right. And but again, like I said, I think it was just that recognising, you know, in each other, that just not giving a shit.
Right, and that's, I guess, what I found when, you know, you sort of discovering like crossover hardcore, you discover like a like-minded bunch of people who, you know, encourage you to be whatever you want to be, but at the same time share a similar mindset, and that sort of stays with you, I guess.
Yeah, and it's funny because I mean, I've said this a few times on the podcast, so I apologise to everyone who's hearing it again. No. But we used to get a lot of punks at our shows, and
right.
And I always used to ask, like, you know, other thrash bands if they got punks, and they were like, no. And I mean, like, Watty from The Exploited used to turn up at Edinburgh venue. He'd always be on the guest list, come in, sit at the back, watch the set, and leave. I've never met the guy.
Right.
He's seen us at least 5 or 6 times, and I always used to kind of like wonder why, and then it's over the years I kind of realised that punks used to come and see us because, you know, when we played live, it was that don't give a shit attitude, which is a punk ethos.
Yeah, but you get up there and you let it all hang out. You play, you get off the stage, and you go, you know, and you just go and have a drink with everyone else.
Yeah,
because it's just what you do. You know, just because you're in a band, it doesn't mean make you any different to anybody else, and that camaraderie, I think, did encourage me to do the band thing first of all, and maybe have another go at it. And like you say, you know, I am probably the last person who should ever be in a band.
But no, you're right. I mean, you know, I even remember saying in interviews back in the day, you know, we want people to see the stage as just an extension of the floor, you know, and ultimately, you know, I want to be one of the ultimate, yeah, we can do this kind of band, as in people come and see you and go, yeah, we can do that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And because, you know, I mean, for a good few years before, you know, we were performing on those stages, we were going to the same gigs. I mean, I went to see Nuclear Assault in 1987 at Sheffield University.
Supporting Slayer?
No. This is just after they only had Game Over out at the time. And,
right, so that'll be just on the brink of the Brain Death 12-inch, wouldn't it?
Yeah, around then. So it was July 1987. I went to see them, and by the end of October '88, we're on tour with them.
It was mental. Everything happened so fast.
Yeah.
With the UK Thrash. I mean, I remember sending off your demo because there was that thing, oh God, what magazine was it, where Scott Ian had sent off for it.
Ah,
and
right.
Talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little bit of gilding the lily there. What happened was,
of course it is. But if you don't do it, it's a good way to get publicity.
Well, it was close to the truth. What happened was Maria Ferrero, Metal Maria at Megaforce, sent me a copy of the MOD album before it had come out, the first album. And she sent me a copy of that, and she said, Scott from Anthrax has asked me to send you a copy of this in exchange for a copy of your Moshkinstein demo.
Right, okay.
So it was. Do you know what I mean? That's just fair enough. So you sent off for one of the original demos as well, did you?
Yeah. I am that fucking old, mate.
Jesus, fucking. Well, yeah. The letter with your cash or check in it would have come through my mum and dad's letterbox, and that would have been me putting everything together and posting it back to you.
See, it all comes full circle. It's like my old days used to get really pissed off at me because I did the tape trading thing through Metal Forces. You know what I mean? That pen banger thing.
Yeah.
So every day there'd be like tapes coming through the letterbox. Where are these bloody things coming from? Who the fuck's sending these to you? You know? And so you'd be upstairs copying tapes and sending them back frantically, and it was mental.
Do you realise that you sent that envelope to me 30 years ago?
Oh, don't, mate. I am feeling so old now.
But, well, don't we? I mean, we're probably around the same age. I mean, I'm 48. How old are you?
Just a bit younger than you, so 46.
Oh, well, there you go. You see, it could be worse. You could be fucking me.
Mate, it could be fucking worse for you because of my fucking knees. Like, here we go. We're going to get into one of those old men. How are you?
Oh look, I've had an ACL reconstruction. That'll do. That's my.
Oh, you poor bastard! I was supposed to have 2 clean outs, but I just can't face it. So it's like I'll keep putting them off and putting them off and putting them off. It'll have to happen eventually.
Yeah, well, by the time you get round it, they'll just fucking replace them, won't they? They'll just take them out and stick a couple of plastic ones in.
See, I like that idea. I like being part bionic man because I can hear the music for the $6 million man kicking over my head.
I can't believe I can fucking remember the music. Jesus.
Well, that's the thing because shows are much better back then. I bet you can remember the music of Charlie's Angels too.
Oh fucking hell. Or was that the Charlie's Angels theme? You never know.
But or at least the Dukes of Hazzard. You remember that one? I bet you.
Oh, I do. I remember the Dukes of Hazzard. Or fucking hell.
And the Fall Guy.
Oh, Daisy Duke. More importantly, I remember about that particular TV show.
Mate, the number of nights Daisy Duke popped in. Well, I'm not even getting
it. Forever in the bank.
Lodge firmly away. Oh yeah.
Getting back to music. What are some of the highlights over the years for you of whether it's going to a festival and representing the magazine there or particular interviews, people that you've been able to get
press passes for festivals, and you work like backstage. Once you go backstage at a festival where they've got good food, good beer, clean toilets, you never want to be a paying puncher ever again. You just never want to do it. But I guess highlights of festival highlights were meeting the Incredibly Strange Wrestling guys, getting into download on NoFX's guest list, and then being pushed into that Metallica secret show.
Oh fucking hell! That must have been pretty smart.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I mean, there's been I've met some fucking incredible people over the years, like Dave Brocky from Guar, who was Odor Surungus.
Yeah,
he was one of the funniest guys I've ever met, and he went from being somebody who I saw on Guar's first show to actually becoming a friend. And when he died, it was just heartbreaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Funnily enough, meeting the Bloodhound Gang guys and being offered a shitload of gay porn after drinking beer with them. And just getting to meet people who you really respect and you really want to like, and you really want to think, please don't suck, and they don't suck. They're really good guys.
Yeah.
Like Paul Bearer from Sheer Terror, Roger Mearay from Agnostic Front, and Jay Bentley from Bad Religion, and Greg Graffin from Bad Religion. Just really good, solid folks who you love their music, and personally, they're just great people. So, yeah, I mean, so many shows, so many great memories.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear you about festivals, man. It is definitely one of those things.
And once you've been back there and you see, this is how the other half live. Look, this toilet's clean, this toilet's got carpet, right? You're not banging around in some pokey little thing with a pot that 10,000 people have sat in before you. These toilets are clean. There are nice chairs to sit in. People are being pleasant to each other. Nobody wants to beat the crap out of you back here. That's the kind of thing I like. And so you just get spoiled for it.
Yeah, it is how the other half live, without a doubt.
Well, once you have a taste of it, you never want to go back. I can't do a tent again. I could never do a tent. I'll wake up next to a bunch of people I don't know. It's horrendous.
Well, funnily enough, I did camping in a tent for a festival for the first time this year since Donington '88. So I gave it 30 years.
Right. How was your back when you woke up?
To be honest, it wasn't bad. I was okay, inflatables, you take them, put them all up and all. Cookie's snoring was the fucking worst part of the festival, to be honest with you. I tell you, fuck me, you Welsh guys can snore.
I'm not Welsh, mate. I just live here.
Fucking hell, really? Whereabouts are you from originally then?
I'm a Scouser, mate.
Really? Right, okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. And yet you saw us in Cardiff.
Yeah, I was living down here by then. I mean, I came down here. This is why I sound like I'm from Cardiff, and I'm not from Cardiff.
Right.
I got this bloody Scouse accent mixed with the valleys, you see, but isn't it lovely?
Yeah, fucking hell, right. You've got a proper bastardised accent there.
Yeah. But that's what it is. So, I mean, the thing is, right, sometimes you can feel like you're Welsh, but when you've moved here, I mean, we've lived where we're living for 16 years. But we'll always be the newcomers into the area, you know what I mean? Because it's that sort of mentality. It's great, and, you can always rely on people, but you're always, you're never going to be one of us. But
yeah, you're always going to be an outsider.
Yeah. And I kind of like that. That suits me down the ground,
And it must be weird, though, because your kids won't be outsiders.
Oh, mate, the little one is just... Talking to kids, the little one's gone missing. She's with her mates out somewhere, and the wife's just coming in. She's like, "Where is she? Do you know?" It's like, "Well, she'll be fine. She's with her mates." But yeah, so she's going to be Welsh all the way. I think. I mean, that's what. It's funny, much kids, because she's doing that. Kids rebel against their parents after they stand for, all right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, were you any good at sport in school?
No, not really.
No, neither was I, because fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Because, Complete Rebellion is now on the Welsh cheerleading squad and going to World Championships.
Oh, fucking hell, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, she's done everything I couldn't do, because, I didn't want to, because, like, fucking very well, but...
Well, it turns out, apparently I had ADHD, which was never diagnosed. So and was only diagnosed this year. So
well, why does this does not surprise me in the slightest? I've seen you on stage. You know what I mean? I am not surprised by that at all.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's just, I mean, a few people said, "Oh, you must wish that you'd been diagnosed back in the day," and I was like, I don't think I'd have got my fucking band signed to a record label when I was 17 years old if it wasn't for ADHD. It's done me
You've been strung out on Ritalin, being like one of those serial killers in waiting with your polishing guns and stuff. Yeah, that's what you'd have been.
Exactly, without a fucking doubt. Jesus.
It would have just been. It would have been a nightmare, brother. So I'm not surprised. I've seen you play. So
yeah, fair point. So what shows you got lined up for, or does it take a lot to get you out to see a band these days?
Oh, mate. Well, next week, Moscow Death Brigade are over, which is unusual because they do what they call it circle pit hip hop, but they're one of the most honest, down to earth bands you'll ever hear. It's really aggressive, really cutting rap, sort of like Public Enemy, but brought up into the 21st century.
I'm gonna have to give that a listen. That sounds right up my street. What are they called again? Moscow what?
Moscow Death Brigade.
Right. Okay. I'm fucking checking that out.
Oh, mate, they are fucking awesome. So they're playing a week Friday, so I'm off to see them. And Madball are playing next month as well. And you got to go see Freddie represent every single time. Freddie and Hoy are bringing it. And on the back of their new album, which is probably their best in, I'd say, 20 years.
Wow, really?
It's a great show. Oh, you've not heard the new Madball record yet?
I haven't, mate, no.
Oh, mate, you have to rectify that straight away.
Right.
Literally, just buy it. End of story, buy it. It's so good.
Well, fuck me, I still remember the first Madball 7-inch coming out.
Yeah, well, that was the little one with Freddie was, 12 maybe, singing it, and it's like Agnostic Front playing with him singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that side project. We are starting to really show in age here. Because it was like, record shop, it's in the store, woo!
I remember I bought that. Fucking hell, I still remember the cover. It was like, I just remember saying, going into a local record shop and saying, it's like, he's related to one of Agnostic Front. It's great, give it a listen. They put it on in the shop. I was like, right, I'm fucking having one of those.
I think he's Roger Murray's stepbrother.
Is it stepbrother, nephew?
Half-brother. He's half-brother because it's...
Right.
Yeah, he's half-brother. Again, it's, you learn all this stuff. I'm learning stuff as I'm getting older. When one thing goes in, I've got to go into something else. You know what I mean? So I've learned by this band. Now I've forgotten how to tie my shoes. That's how it works, I think, you get older, because you've only got limited brain capacity. So if every new fact you learn, someone else has got to go. How do you drive a car?
Well, I think it might be that, or it might be just too long living in Wales, mate. It's had an effect on you.
It could be something like that.
What did you?
It's something in the air.
What did you think to the last Agnostic Front album?
I loved it, mate.
It was in my top 5 of the year.
Because it was brutally honest, and it's got that thing where they just said, well, okay, this is what we do now, but it's like a nod to the old, Lower East Side crew stuff, and it was just wonderful.
I loved it. I mean, like the tracks like Old New York were just like you say, you could just feel the honesty coming out in those songs.
Well, I interviewed Roger just after it came out, anyway, and again, he's a guy I'll always interview whenever it says, he's on the schedules, I want to speak to Roger Music, because there's no bullshit in this guy at all. It's just, you ask him a question, you get an answer, and it's, whether you like the answer or not, that's the answer, you get it. You know what I mean? He is just honest to a fault. And just plus, who doesn't love Vinny Stigma? Dude's in his 60s.
Yeah.
And completely mental. Completely mental.
I don't think he's even plugged in live these days.
I don't care. I do not care. Yeah. Whatever drugs Vinny's having, I want them. Because that's what I want to be like when I'm 60. Happiest shit and just loving life and everybody, which is a great way to be, I guess. Yeah,
no, he is. He is a bit of a legend. I've tried to get Roger a few times, and it's never worked out. And I was due to interview him, was due to go to one of their gigs, and then I wasn't able to go because I had a show, and I was just mate. I've missed him a few times. I'm determined to get him next time. Nothing's stopping me.
It's absolutely worth it. Right? Because when you meet me, you go, I get it. And it's just everything you hear on those records, that's who he is. It's just, there's no bullshit in the guy.
That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant. Well, look, Tim, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. Thank you so much for coming on and taking the time out. No problem, brother. I'll see you in the next show then. I'll see you when we're in Wales, dude. Yeah. Take it easy, H. You too, man. Take care. Bye-bye. And there you go. That is my chat with Tim. That was really enjoyable. What can I say? Properly going down memory lane there on a few things, and Tim and I haven't spoken before, and I wasn't aware of the Acid Rain connection there at all, so I was as surprised as you were. Hopefully that showed. But do give Mass Movement some support if you can. Nip to the website, and it's a treasure trove of stuff. And you heard plenty of bands in there that you need to go and check out, which I am going to do as well. I haven't had a chance to yet. As I said, that interview was recorded very recently, and I haven't had the chance. But no, please do. Anyway, look, time's cracking on, and the police are coming round, so I've got to wind this up. That's got to be the best reason I've ever had for winding up the podcast. Yep, that's right. The pigs are coming round. Don't call them the pigs, Howard. That's disrespectful. I'm sorry. I'll try not to call them the pigs when they come round. You've done it again. I do apologise. Okay, I'm sorry. The local constabulary. That's right. I think his name's Oliver, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Oliver. Right, okay. Get used to calling him Oliver. I will. I'll get used to calling him Oliver. That way I don't say, hello, come in, Mr. Pig. Or something like that. So I'll try not to offer him a bacon sandwich either. This is fucking stupid. What is occurring now? I'm blaming the head injury. Okay, I'm performing this with a head injury. I have been suffering from concussion. Well, I was earlier in the week, but yeah, I'm getting back on my feet. Anyway, whatever. As always, it is an absolute pleasure to be in your ears. That wasn't too creepy. Wherever you're listening to this, whether it's on the way to work, on a treadmill in the gym, down the mines, is there such a thing anymore? Whether you're working on a NASA space program, where you're working on the bins, whether you're on your way to see your girlfriend, on the way to see your boyfriend, on the way to see your girlfriend and boyfriend, you're listening to this while the wife's out, you listen to this while the husband's out, you listen to this while the kids are asleep, you listen to this while the cat's asleep, you're listening to this while everyone's asleep, because fuck them, at least you've at last got some time to yourself, just you and me. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it, as always. I really do. A couple of shout-outs. Shout-out to the Thrash Metal podcast, which is hosted by No Friender! Occasionally, for some reason, he does like to shout, and quite frankly, I love it. So yeah, very different podcast to mine. No swearing. So yeah, very different. But they made an exception for the podcast that we did together, because it's only Patreon, only for patrons. So that was quite cool. But yeah, definitely worth checking out the Thrash Metal podcast. It's worth checking out Jamie Jaster's podcast to just skip through the advertising bullshit. And if he does an advert in the middle of an interview, I've got on my app, if I press skip, it skips forward 30 seconds. In most apps, you can set how many seconds it skips forward, and that skips past the adverts nicely. Yeah, there's lots of cool podcasts out there, but none as cool as this, as I'm sure you'd agree. I will be doing my spoken word show, the Tales from the Book of Thrash, or the Secret Thrash History. That's coming up in Leeds in 1 week's time. In fact, in 6 days' time, I'll have done it. By this time next week. This time next week, I will be on the motorway, heading down to London from up north to see Slayer for the very last time. That's right, folks. I am going to see Slayer at Wembley Arena next week for the very, very last time. The live metal band that I have paid to see more than anyone else. It really will be the end of an era. I am going to take it in. I am going to take in every song, and I'm not going to have one single beer. I am going to be absolutely stone cold sober. I'm not going to be stone cold soda. I'm going to be stone cold sober, and I'm going to take in every single one of those songs for the very, very last time live. And it's going to be it's going to be weird. I'm going to be going with my mate who I have seen Slayer with pretty much every time. Every time I've seen Slayer, he has been there with me. And it's going to be end of an era for both of us. So, yeah, it's I'll tell you all about it on next month's podcast. So now it's time to play out with a song. And This is going to be from Death Row, old school thrash metal, from their very last album, Deception Ignored, which is a re-release through Noise BMG. Now, it turns out that when I did my spoken word show in London, Miles came along. Remember Miles of Dry Heave Records, who put out the first Acid Rain single, Plan of the Damned, on vinyl, which was very cool of him, and I had him on the show because he was running an independent label. Well, he has ended up working at BMG and overseeing all of these noise thrash re-releases, you know, Creator, Sodom, Death Row, Voivod, you name it, he's been involved with all of them. So guess who's going to be on next month's podcast talking about all of that? Yes, it's going to be a proper old school thrash special. Really looking forward to that. So, guys, as a kind of link, this is almost professional, isn't it? As a kind of link as to what's going to be going on next month's podcast, or Bollocast, depending on what you want to call it. And by the way, before I go any further, I am working on the Christmas special. It will be a 2-parter, and I will tell you more about that in next month, but it's going to be cool. Anyway, I would say that, wouldn't I? I'm not going to say it's going to be shit. So anyway, getting on. I decided to play you out with a song called NLYH, which is track 4 from Deception Ignored by Death Row, and it stands for Never Lose Your Humour. Now, it's the shortest track on the album. Don't be misled by this song, okay? It's only just over 3 minutes, but there's a 9-minute song, there's an 8-minute song, there's a 7-minute song on the album. It's very cool. It's remastered. It's even cooler if Miles sent it to you this week free with a load of other things to cheer you up because you've had your head kicked off. So anyway, without further ado, it's been a pleasure as always. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Lovely to speak to you. Take care, everyone, and I will speak to you next month. Here is From Deception Ignored by Death Row, NLYH.